Hello.
Hi.
Over there. I see that bad moon arising.
Hi, everyone.
We're back. Well, we've been back, but the one we recorded where we were actually back is coming out after this one. So now we're back. And then we'll be back again the next time.
So we're back
Yes.
again. We're back. Tell a friend.
Please tell some friends.
Please tell your friends.
Because one day it was like all your friends, you stopped telling all your friends. We noticed.
It's been a while, and we're sorry about that.
Yep.
We really are.
Franny and I have been working endlessly on a pilot podcast. In the meantime,
check it out.
JK, we had 90% of those podcasts pre-recorded for months.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to do anything due to everything going on in the world and our personal lives. I don't want to get too much into it because we've done this once already. So if you want to hear why we were gone for so
just
long,
watch the next
wait
one.
another amount of time. And also, just a heads up, because we're starting extra projects, people are doing extra podcasts. I have a couple of my own projects coming up. We're going to start posting this once every other week. So get used to the idea of it being every other Wednesday, and it's going to be opposite to the weeks that we do a pilot pod. So one week on a Monday, we do a pilot pod. The following week, we do crosscut on a Wednesday.
Yes, at least for the time being, we are every other week right now.
The hope is that not only will we go back to once a week eventually, but also we'll have other projects that we've been able to work on rise up. So
Yes.
we just wanted to kind of widen what we're doing.
Yeah, but we've missed you guys, and we're happy to be back and doing it again. Life's been crazy, but here we are.
Oh, yeah.
We all made it.
It's, I guess, life in a pandemic, right?
Yes.
But new things are coming in 2021, and it's going to be good. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Things have been wild so far.
Make sure
It has been a while
We
so
got
far.
Madison to watch anime.
That's
That's-
really crazy.
That's
That's
really
the
Like,
craziest
I'm-
thing that's happened so far.
Like, I'm no longer, like, pretending for the bitches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm actually becoming... You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Yeah, we've been watching Death Note, so I don't know if anybody wants to talk about Death Note with me. You can definitely drop it in the comments.
Yep.
Or email us.
She's post episode 25.
I was going to say... Sorry, I just spoiled it. I'm really fresh emotionally.
Yeah, like she just spoiled like the entire show.
Yeah,
But
I'm really raw from it all emotionally, so like sorry.
I mean,
But you know, do what I did. Edit yourself. Don't spoil it for me. I'll be mad.
Yeah, don't spoil the rest for her.
on a different note, I feel like it's been so long that we should say who we are and what we do. You know? Just
Sure.
kinda give everybody a refresh.
All right. I'm Madison. What do? I watch anime now, apparently.
I'm Bridget. What do? I cry.
I mean, I didn't think like individually what we do. I meant like as
I
a
know.
whole.
I knew what
Funny.
you meant. I just thought it would be funny if I said that. I make
Pretty
jokes
much.
sometimes. That's another thing I do.
Yeah, I'm Franny. Who are you?
what was the question?
Who are you?
What do you do?
What do we do?
What do I do?
Yeah. What are some things you do?
God.
Okay. So pre or post COVID?
Oh my God. Just say your name.
What your name?
You know,
I'm
we're
Logan.
moving
I'm
on.
Logan. That's what you meant.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We're moving on.
So, as a whole, we are Crosscut Cinema, and what do we do together? We watch movies, and then we review them.
And we
in
spoil
full
them.
spoilers.
Yep.
We don't spoil Death Note, but we do spoil the movies.
Yeah. And
That
if we
is-
ever review Death Note, you can guarantee we'll spoil it.
Yeah, we'll
yes.
we will spoil the shit out of Death Note if
Ooh,
that day
that'd
comes.
be a good pilot pod crossover.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, it would
God.
be fun. We
yes.
could do
I
that
love
on the
that.
pilot pod, and then we could do the Death Note movie.
God.
Yeah, that's what he just said.
No, it's not.
Not what
she
he said.
definitely added to what I said.
That's
what he meant.
I was bouncing
That's
off.
what I meant. Thank you for having so much faith in me.
I knew that's what you meant, though. I
No,
was
it's
on the same.
not. It's really
Not what he
not.
meant.
What?
Like, why can I not get credit for like my own ideas
Wait,
that
I
I
thought
bring to the table?
I thought that Logan meant that.
She just assumed I was right.
She just made assumptions.
As one should.
I mean, I typically assume Logan knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody makes that assumption for me, evidently.
I mean,
So we watch the movies, we review them, we say spoilers about them, and you hopefully you like it. That's your part in this, listener.
And subscribe and tell people to check us out.
Or you can like
Yeah.
disagree with us and like shout it out in the comments or email us about it.
Yep.
But hopefully you still find it
If you're
enjoying to listen
listening-
to.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere, please rate us at the highest level. If you're on
Yes.
YouTube, please subscribe, like,
Ring
comment.
that motherfucking bell, baby.
To be honest with you, like, ringing that bell would not be that big of a deal because we have long hiatuses where we don't post anything, so you won't be bothered by notifications.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Last thing we do is a Christmas episode, and baby, it's almost February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
This will come out in February, right?
Yep.
It sure will.
It sure will.
It
Or
sure
if
dang
you're
will.
listening to it, it sure has.
It sure.
It'll come out right after me and Logan's 7-year anniversary.
Wow. Congrats, guys.
Thanks.
Oh,
Thanks.
No, it won't.
Yeah, it will.
It'll come out the day before.
Excuse. Oh, I was thinking of a pilot podcast. The next episode. It'll come out the day before our 7-year anniversary.
Congrats,
Aw.
guys.
Thank
If we
you.
make it that far.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oof. Okay, so what movies?
What movies?
Oh, are you
talking
playing
about?
sounds on the little thing?
I
don't
did,
have
sure.
headphones.
I sure
He
did.
did a womp
He surely
womp
did.
womp.
Just-
Madison and I
sound.
don't have headphones anymore, so we can't hear.
Yeah, well, because whenever we
happening?
did headphones, it would always be like I can't hear out of the headphones, and everybody. would
Yeah,
have
and
to
then it's like,
focus on
why
that.
even have
And it's
headphones
like-
if you can't
It
hear
was
out of
very
them?
complicated.
If you guys want, you can get studio headphones, but I think the small ones were just more trouble than they were worth.
They
Yeah.
were.
But
We're in a new
Franny,
studio too, which we talk about in the next episode. Yeah, Logan, what were
but
you saying?
Franny, whenever I play a soundbite, you should just throw them like the shalom. That way they know.
Yeah.
I'll just audibly say.
You're
the
like,
soundbite.
wah, wah, wah.
Field goal.
I'll just like go entirely off mic and go. Womp, womp, womp.
Just
I'm
start
sure that
directing
was still
traffic.
audible.
Yeah.
But what movies are we talking about today, guys?
All right, so we're talking about An American Werewolf in London right now, and then we'll eventually be talking about Lost Boys.
Yes.
Them dang old lost boys.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
motherfucker, I'm trying to watch The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
That's a Reservoir Dogs reference for all of you real ones out there
Yeah.
who know.
If you guys want to listen to our Reservoir Dogs review,
You should do that too. It's out there.
yeah, there's a lot of reviews.
We have
Yeah.
many. I think we have over 30, right?
Yeah,
I don't
we've
know.
been,
Well-
we've been
well
doing
over
this for
30.
a year.
We have well over 30.
Oh my
because-
god, we've been doing this for a year.
Yeah.
Over a year, yeah.
Over a
sure
year.
have.
Now, to be fair,
I'm having an aneurysm.
there was many breaks in the middle. So,
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
many
but still.
COVID breaks.
but there was a period where it was like every week for like several months, and that's
I know.
insane. Most
That
people
is
can't-
insane.
We definitely do more than most people who aren't making money from this do,
Right.
Yeah.
because we're dedicated, baby.
But that's what we got Patreon for. If you want this content, want it to keep coming.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Check us
or
out.
We could do what those guys went to jail for and put our Venmo up. You guys can donate directly to it.
Oh god.
Yarp.
Just make an OnlyFans, but only for donations, and we don't do anything else on it. But just a picture
I mean,
of us.
we could post nudes, I guess.
They have to be
Yeah.
artful nudes in Madison's world, though. They have to be artful nudes.
Artful nudes.
Madison once told me, because we were talking, this is important. We'll talk about werewolves in a
It
second.
so isn't important.
This is so important. They had this friend who
Had.
I said had.
I just wanted that to be known.
It's very
Had.
is and this friend is I would say has similar to the psyche of the Riddler. And this friend this friend was
Jesus Christ.
was an asshole. But also this friend would like constantly just send nudes and post nudes all the time
On like Snapchat.
on Snapchat. And I was like, seems like she's literally begging for attention. And Madison's argument was because they were friends with her at the time, so they're trying to like defend this bitch.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, if it's artful, it's not bad. I'm like, okay, so like I can send you like a pic of my wiener, but if there's like a rose petal next to it, it's cool.
I mean, there's a difference.
And you said yes.
Well, there's a difference between like posting just like a
But-
random nude
okay, but
and
this was
posting an artistic like
This
thought
was a
out
fucking
nude.
shower mirror nude.
Well,
This
I'm
is
not saying that. I don't think
No,
I ever made the argument that
you did.
that was artful.
Yes, you did though. That's exactly
You
why
kinda
it came
did,
up.
babe.
You
Okay,
totally
well,
did.
whatever. I mean, the point still stands that there's a difference between like nudes, like I want you to fuck me nudes, and like an artistic
But-
like this is my body.
But
nude.
there's no difference in the intent of I need attention.
I disagree.
I
think that there's-
totally agree with me.
Okay. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
But the point being, we'll post nudes, but they have to be artful. So like, you'll get one of
Yeah.
like my wiener laid out on monkey.
I wish we could just stop saying the word wiener. I really don't like it.
What's wrong with wiener?
I don't know.
Fine, my penis.
That's fine.
My
Penis?
penis.
Penis is fine. Dick is fine. Those
Dick
are,
is fine. You're okay with saying my dick?
Yeah, I'm okay with
You
my
could
dick.
just wait. I have an
But you're
artful.
not okay with
He
my
cannot
wiener?
say cock though.
No, cock is not
Oh, I have
allowed.
to
Wait,
say
I
cock
have an
now.
artful nude idea.
Yeah.
You put it in 2 hot dog buns.
I don't know if
on a
that's artful.
counter.
Why two? Why not just one hot
Oh
dog
wait,
bun?
like 1 hot dog bun. But I was thinking about how like when you have a bun,
Betwixt.
there's like 2 little buns. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one bun.
Yeah, true.
It's
I
connected
know what you
piece
mean.
of
One-
bread.
1 bun, 2 parts.
If you really wanted to get creative, you could put some
I
like
could
ketchup
think
and
outside
mustard.
the bun.
God. Put like some chips on the plate next to it, some ketchup.
Mustard.
Yeah.
Mustard.
I was
Mustard on my
saying.
cock.
Ew. I hate that.
I have a friend who like exclusively refers to any dick as a cock, and it's
That's
like
Like, I don't want to out your friend, but I think it's a gay thing.
Oh, is it somebody I know?
yeah.
Definitely a gay thing.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I met this individual once, and this individual, this something very gay. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Like,
No.
I'm just like,
It was something like we were talking about how this individual was a bisexual, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. And then he said something very gay along the lines of like, yeah, if you were gay, I'd totally hit that ass or something.
Yeah, he did say that.
And I was like,
but yeah, I just
he's
think
gonna
that
try to touch my cock.
oh shit, my phone just fell on the ground. Sorry. I just think that straight men don't use the word cock to describe their penis.
What? Can I describe other penises that way?
Absolutely not.
Why?
I just don't think straight men do that. I think you could if you were gay.
Wait, that's not fair. How's that fair?
I,
as a straight white male, am being discriminated against
you,
right now.
you as a straight man want
You're
to
being
talk about
oppressed.
other men's cocks.
Why not?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I'm comfortable with my own sexuality. What if some dude has an insanely cool cock?
See, I just think the word cock makes it like worse. I
what
don't
were
like
we
it.
listening to that they're talking about the fascination, like the male fascination with whose penis?
Shaq.
Shaq, yeah.
Shaq's
Oh my
penis.
God.
Okay, so here's the thing. We all know that Shaq has to have a real dinger. It's Shaq.
Yeah, 'cause
but
he's
here's the thing.
huge.
He's consistently been outed as having a small penis in proportion to his size. And my argument is, do you want him to have a dick that can kill people?
I was gonna say, I mean, in proportion to his size, it's probably just like an
Yeah.
above
it, like-
average penis.
9 inches. That's
It's
what
like
we looked
they're
up.
like it's like 9 inches long, and I'm like, that's a huge.
That's big.
That's
And,
a
I mean,
huge penis.
In my
Right.
admittedly limited experience, I would say that that's pretty big, right?
I mean,
Yes,
dude, a
very.
9-inch penis is like you could kill an elephant.
Because like the average is like what?
You
like
could go hunting in the
five?
woods.
Five.
I think it's like
Six?
6-ish, yeah.
You have to have a license to carry
5,
a
6
cock that big.
I don't like that at all. Ugh, God.
Jesus.
So if you
So this
missed
is
us,
a movie podcast
Yeah. Anyway,
Not a podcast about Shaq's penis. I'm sure there
or any
are.
penises.
I'm sure there are podcasts about Shaq's penis.
A penis pod.
A penis,
Two penises in a pod.
is that the OnlyFans version of a pilot pod? We call it a penis pod.
Yes.
with only 1 penis.
We just have Cecil pull out his penis.
yeah.
No.
God.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to talk about American Werewolf in London.
now that
All
we
right.
spend a lot of time talking about some cocks,
Some
God.
cocks.
I hate it.
It
a lot.
really does bother her when I say that.
I don't like it
like,
either.
Like when you say it, she's like, "Ugh, Bridget. But when I say it, she's like, fucking kill me.
I
It's
don't
in her
like-
face.
You don't like it when I say pussy.
No, I don't like when you talk about
Like my
your
pussy, my personal pussy.
when
The
you-
pussy, a pussy of one's own.
When you guys talk about each other's pussies, that's different. I'm not sitting here like, Franny, you sure have a nice cock.
I don't talk about Bridget's pussy.
Bridget did to you one time.
You maybe don't, but somebody else had something to say about it, saying it didn't sound like macaroni.
I was so drunk. I want to preface it by saying I was incredibly drunk.
And then you said something like, her pussy is cool. And I was like, I want to die.
I don't remember
Don't
this
describe
at
it
all.
as cool.
To be honest, I could have said anything. I don't know.
Sees a lot of
I was
things,
so
but I don't know
drunk.
if
Logan
cool is the one.
Logan just screamed and covered
He
his
was
ears.
like-
He did the la 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 thing.
I said shut the fuck up in the most serious tone I've ever put on my whole life for Bridget. It was like when you get mad at your kid in the car and you turn around and be like, I swear to God, I'll fucking turn this car around. I was like, Bridget, I swear to God, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm gonna disappear.
Logan, I need you to not talk about parents getting mad at children in cars and turn around. Because I think you know that's triggering for me. Oh, sorry. That's a little insider piece of Madison's trauma right there.
And not only that, but I just thought of Headstrong by Trapped. I can't even talk. It's making me laugh so hard.
Oh my God.
But anyway, so an American
But
Werewolf
don't
in
say
London.
cool though.
About your puss?
I think that's just a. I don't like puss at all.
I hate that. That's the worst.
I just
thing.
think cool is a weird descriptor. Like it's like wearing sunglasses.
And also like
It has the like Quentin Tarantino vibe that like you tried to
Yeah,
have. It's got like
sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt.
yeah, like some boogie woogie guitars playing behind you.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough
Enough
about
about
Madison and Bridget.
Can we just not talk about genitalia for the rest of the
Yeah, I think we should.
I feel like this isn't really my fault,
I feel like we hit our quota.
but people are gonna say it's my fault. Anyway, An American Werewolf in London, one of the best practical effect films of all time. They literally made an Academy Award for this film, and then has of course carried on the tradition since. I've seen this movie upwards of 1,000 times. It has the best soundtrack of any horror movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
It is one of the best acted horror movies from the 80s, and it is one of the funniest horror movies from the 80s. I have seen it a billion times, but Bridget and Franny watched it for the first time for this. I think you've seen it before.
Yes.
But I want to hear what they thought being a first-time viewer.
It was really fucking good. I was not expecting the level of quality that we got there. I don't know. I thought it would be more. I don't know why I thought it would be more of like a comedy, but I thought there'd be like it would be like it wasn't as intense
Yeah, it's like
as I thought it.
Wait, so you were expecting it to be funnier than it was, or less?
Like
funny?
I thought it because wasn't there a show that was like Teenage Werewolf or something?
That's
Like
called
Teen
Teen
Wolf?
Wolf, and
Teen Wolf, but
that'll be a direct tie.
But like, I remember as a teen, remembering watching, like a comedy. Well, I was watching Teen Wolf. You know.
yeah.
You're talking about
With-
MTV's 1980s Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, because my parents were like, "Yeah, there's a comedy version of this," and they started watching it with me. The newer Teen Wolf, that you guys will be reviewing on a pilot podcast, and they're like, "This is not what I thought it was going to be."
Yeah.
Oh, so you were
And
talking about
so-
the Michael J. Fox version.
Yeah,
I see. I
Where
got
he's like
you.
playing basketball and stuff?
yeah. That's why I thought it was going to be funnier because I thought that was like
A
off of
continuation of this.
not a continuation, but like kind of based on this.
I mean, I will say that like most werewolf movies, like following this one, took a lot of inspiration from
Yeah,
this one.
and
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say it's definitely pretty funny. It's more of a psychological thriller than I thought too. in a
yeah,
way.
it's like a black comedy.
yeah.
I would say.
Madison, didn't you say that you saw a lot of like where Buffy comes from with this, or was that me?
I think
You
I said that
something
about
else.
the Lost Boys.
Oh, you said that about the
that
Lost
makes
Boys,
sense.
but also I feel like it's you haven't seen any of the werewolf stuff in Buffy though, because it's
No.
coming though. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's a coming.
Bad, you haven't seen it though.
I haven't even seen
Don't even
the
know
werewolf
about
stuff
the
in
werewolves
Buffy.
and Buffy that. They're freaking crazy.
So, Franny, what did you think of this for your first time watching? Because Bridget answered.
Yeah,
But now we need your answer.
like I thought it was gonna be a bit because I'm always hesitant to watch old movies.
She really fucking is.
Yeah.
Even
Nothing
though
good was made before
every
yesterday.
old movie
Pretty
I've ever
much.
forced you to watch was always amazing.
Yeah, it's always amazing, but I'm always hesitant to like start it at first. I really liked. I feel like it was a big subversion of expectations. Like I thought from the beginning that they were going to be like pretty much running from a werewolf the whole movie. You know,
Oh,
like
you didn't
something
think
like
that he was going to become a werewolf?
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I feel like the title gives it away.
Right.
Because
mean,
they're the
does
only
it?
two Americans that are in the London area in the movie that you're watching.
I guess, but like I didn't fucking pay attention to I didn't analyze the title previously to watching it. I just
Wait.
watched it.
I feel like this movie kind of, like I was saying before.
I'm sorry, but I was just thinking, like, she watches American Pie. She's like, are these kids in Germany? Like, I don't know.
Fuck you.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
But like I was saying before, I feel like this movie really changed what like werewolf monster movies looked like.
Absolutely.
Also, this movie's gay.
Correct. Yeah.
There's
It really
gay shit in
is.
this movie.
There's a lot of gay shit. The
What's
two
gay? Oh, you mean the two main gays? I mean,
Yeah.
the two
Yeah,
main
they're gay.
gays is what I almost said.
Two
two
main
main
gays?
gays.
Oh.
They're gay.
I don't know,
Okay.
man. I don't know.
There's some gay love
I
out there.
like-
They
I
both
think-
talk about so much puss in the beginning that I don't know.
I wish
I
you
think
could
it's-
stop saying puss.
I think it's like
They're
they're
gay.
trying to like,
Yeah.
Like
they're trying
like
to see.
projecting.
They're trying to be like,
Not everything is a secret gay language.
This is gay. This
no,
movie's
it's
gay.
definitely gay.
There's
I
some
definitely
gay.
said gay when we were
Listen,
watching this.
Okay, here's the thing. All right, let's break this down statistically, okay? All right, even if you don't go with the conservative number of 10% of people are gay, the majority amount it could possibly be is like 33%. You guys think every single piece of cinema is gay?
Yes.
Eventually, it's not gonna be gay. It
This
has
one's
to happen,
gay, though.
statistically speaking.
There are some pieces of cinema that aren't gay.
Correct. I
I think
agree
this
with that.
is one of them because the whole time it's
I
just
disagree.
It's two boys talking about. I mean, they literally talk about puss. You know, they talk about puss in it.
I don't think this is like the gayest movie, but I could support and understand a gay interpretation of this movie.
I agree.
I don't know. I think it's a stretch.
There's like a sprinkle of gay.
Just like a dash.
Because then
just-
what you're doing is you're portraying the concept of the idea that two guys can just care about each other and not be gay. Which is pretty gross. Like, I can care about my buddy and not want to fuck him.
I know,
I feel
I'm
that way.
I mean, that's
Thing.
fair, but I think
And I
this
feel like
is
these two characters literally show nothing like that towards each other. They literally just care about each other as
They do.
friends. You know, like how I care about Madison like a friend. They care about each other as if they're not trying to fuck each other.
I don't know. My first interpretation of this movie is not gay, but I can understand the gay interpretation, and I have no issue with it. I take no problem.
I think it casts movies that do have clearly gay things in a light where it's like, okay, people are just exaggerating for the sake of their gay claims, for their gay,
Gay
propaganda.
I mean, I'm willing to let anything be gay. Like, if somebody says it, I'm willing to.
Listen, if it's
Yeah.
gay, it's gay. I'm just arguing this movie isn't gay.
Yeah.
I respect your argument, but I also disagree.
Can you tell me how it is gay?
I don't know. They just seem to have a connection that's
Wow,
gay.
really well supported theory you
Yeah.
have there. I don't know. I want it to be.
I think I just
And
hate.
also, like, you go.
I just said I hate the female character so much.
I
that
don't hate
I just want it to be
her.
gay.
I just
Yeah, I
think their
don't hate her
relationship
either.
is weird.
She is a huge punchline.
Right.
Like, you can't
Yeah.
take her as a real person.
I don't like
Right.
the way. Yeah, like. I
So-
mean, it wouldn't fly to write a female character like that in 2021.
It
is
would.
what I'm
if-
trying to say.
It would in the context it was written though, because it's meant to be like this woman, like she is like not mentally well. Like,
Yeah.
like for her to accept the things she has to accept,
Right.
they have to
Right.
kind of write her in an even more dramatically bad way because she has to be able to fall for a dude who literally thinks. He's a
Yeah,
werewolf.
should we kind of go through the plot? We definitely did not do
Okay,
that.
sure. So there's two friends from I think they're from New York, right?
I think so.
They say something about New York, I think.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
Yeah.
from New York, I believe.
But anyway, they're two buddies and they're backpacking through Europe, United Kingdom, whatever it may be. And they come up on this old ass town while they're backpacking and riding around looking at goats and talking about pussy. And I'm gonna see how long it takes before Madison leaves the room for me saying it. They come across this like Gaelic old bar. Gaelic, yeah, they like gays there.
Lick.
Nice, really stretching here. All I'm saying is like that's a melt steel's beam kind of argument. But they go in there and like there's a towny vibe to it. Like you don't know us, so we don't know you. Back up, everybody.
Yeah, like you're outsiders.
Like that's Bridget's bar in her hometown. They're all like, you don't know about corn.
We did go to a bar in Bridget's hometown last time we were there, and it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me and my friend
Yeah.
walked into one that was kind of like that, but it was like where we used to live on like
Yeah.
that strip. And we walked in and there was like 4 people in there and they just kind of looked at us and we literally walked out.
there was one in the bar we went into.
But they notice that all these people, they're having jokes, and some of them are not so PG. There's some jokes at the expense of minorities.
Yes.
But it literally is 81.
Yeah,
So.
and it's also a small town in another country, so what happens
Right.
happens. But they notice there's a pentagram on the wall. Old boy, one of the boys, like, what's up with the pentagram? Y'all are fucking weird, and they're like, get out of here, you best bounce. And they don't warn them, even though they clearly know that the bad moon's on the rise.
Right, yes.
There's a
They could have said, "Don't go around tonight."
you just might end your life.
They could have said that,
A
and they
bad
didn't.
mood on
Yeah,
the
they're
rise.
Was this song written for this movie?
No.
What?
No.
No.
That's crazy.
Creedence
It feels-
Clearwater is a legitimate band that makes apparently haunted music.
No, but I wasn't sure if they like wrote it like specifically for this movie.
No. It was a classic before it was a
Wow,
movie.
that's crazy.
it
It
Yeah,
feels
it was
like
definitely
so
older than
perfect.
80s.
But to be fair, though,
Wow.
that song has become synonymous with this film.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what's crazy about that is if the Bad Moon Rising section of the movie isn't that remarkable.
It's just kind of like him walking around doing stuff.
It's a montage right
Right.
before.
Like him reading a book and shit.
I mean, it is a great. The song is perfect because right after the end of the montage is the transformation.
Yeah,
But-
because it's like rising, it's coming.
yeah, so it's well placed, but the whole movie is filled with great music.
Oh yeah.
This
Absolutely.
movie is.
I
it's
think
got such a
Blue
bomb-
Moon is in this movie like more
Yes.
than once, multiple versions, which is kind of fun.
They really play into like, okay, we're gonna make. I mean, maybe I don't. Is this pre MTV?
It's 81.
I would say that this is probably concurrent.
So I feel
MTV.
it feels kind of like they wanted to take.
Oh, it is concurrent. It literally is like almost down to the day because this MTV started August 1st, 1981, and American Werewolf in London came out August 21st, 1981.
So yeah,
Woohoo.
I feel like there was a vibe in the general in the distribution of entertainment where music wasn't really well represented in visual yet. So I feel like this movie it almost works like a really long MTV music video.
It does.
Oh my
kind
god,
of.
it does.
And that's what makes it so great is all this music blends really well with what's happening while also being like an inside joke of itself and being really like, kind of
Yeah.
campy in what it picks.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this movie for being like, okay, so like we're gonna do the werewolf thing, and then they fully commit 100% to
Yeah.
doing the werewolf thing.
Yeah,
they
for
really
sure.
do. They really.
They commit to
really
it. They
do.
pick all the same. It's like whenever it's similar to what I do. Whenever it's raining outside, I put on my rain playlist, and it's a bunch of songs about rain.
God.
It's the same thing.
Amazing.
Logan is the type of person that has a playlist for everything.
Yeah.
Logan, you should put it on your rain playlist right now because it's
And
raining.
just get copyright stricken all over
Yeah.
the video.
Uh-huh.
And I want to know.
Is that on it?
Yeah. Have you ever
Nice.
seen The Rain? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it's on there.
Obviously.
There's got some Bruno Mars on there. We got some Raining Men on there. It's a rain man. Hallelujah.
Do you have the Glee like crossover song where Dancing in the Rain and Umbrella?
No.
Or Singing in the Rain
He
and
said
Umbrella?
absolutely not.
But that's
No.
the best one.
Brandy, I wouldn't listen to Glee music unless it was for our
We
relationship.
always listen to Glee music
For
in
whose
the
sake?
car
For whose
24/7.
Terrible.
Mine.
Because I want to listen to classic songs, and she
And
wants to listen to
all
Glee.
I want to listen to.
So I find the classic songs I love, but they're performed. by
all I
Glee.
want to listen to though is Leah Michelle singing "Run Joey Run"
God.
with all the different boys.
Anyway, this is not related to An American Werewolf in London. So
Glee has a tie into everything. Thank you.
I
Anyways,
don't think
continue.
you know what though. I don't think it does for this. Anyway, not the
You're
point.
right.
They did Bad Moon Rising for like a werewolf episode of Glee. I'd be like, this is terrible. But
I can't even handle that.
but anyway, so they go out. They go. They just might.
They do tell them, stay on the road, and
Stay
then
on
they
the road.
promptly
They
ignore
do say
that.
that.
But they know. They know that
Yeah.
there's a good chance that they're
Right.
And of course, the main characters playing into the Black Comedyville. It's like, oh, we're not on the road. Oh, we're in the moors. Like we're not supposed to be.
Yeah,
Well,
they're just like 20 somethings fucking around pretty
But
much.
to be fair, like that is how people are.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh,
It's
for
like,
sure.
We talked one time. We did an occult podcast, which we'll do again one day, and we were talking about the chair of death. The chair of death is this chair that when you sit in it, you die.
Right.
And I tell Madison about it amongst everybody else, and Madison goes, "I would sit in it because that's how people are.
Right.
That's
'cause,
how
like, yeah.
Madison
Don't go
and
in the
other
moors.
people are.
I guarantee you, if we were
I'm going in the motherfucking
first of all,
moors.
if we could convince Madison to go on a long hike, then
I like to hike.
I thought you said
She
you
does.
don't get your feet though.
well,
the
yeah, but
next
it has
day.
to be. I mean, the next day, like there has to be a place for me to rest.
Just
Okay,
no kayaking.
Fair enough.
no kayaking.
Oh God.
But I would hike. But yeah, I mean, it would have to be.
She would be the one who's like, let's go on the moors, and I would be like,
moors.
let's not. And for some reason, like whenever Madison says something irresponsible, the other two are like, let's do it. Every time.
That's my power.
Let's all go sit on our unstable roof of a house where the foundation was so terrible.
I don't think that
there
was
were
my
mice
idea.
living in the walls.
No, that was my idea.
Are you sure?
Well, I
we
said I
all
wanted
did
to
it.
do it. Madison said I should
Let's
do
do
it.
it. Madison, let's do it, Madison said. You said, wouldn't it be cool? Actually, I remember this. You said, wouldn't it be awesome if we could just sit up on that roof? Like you were like
And
passing
I'm
the
sure
idea.
I said, like, why
and
couldn't
you're,
we?
You're like, let's do it.
And we did. And you know what? Nobody died.
And you know what? I heard creaky ass roof noises. I heard. I'm like, there
Yeah,
goes.
because you did not get on the roof.
And
You
I
said,
just kept
"Fuck that."
thinking, like, I'm never gonna monetize this podcast if I lose all three of them. Or maybe I could. Maybe the next one could be like, they're all gone.
They're dead.
Donate to the Patreon.
We were literally getting ready to record too.
Yeah.
Like maybe it might have been even mid-recording, and you could be
Literally.
like, you come back, but like they all died.
But the point is, the characters obviously like they aren't paying attention. They end up in the moors. They start hearing the old good boy noises. You know, they start hearing Dwight bark and shit. And Dwight's my dog. And
Our dog. Me and
Dwight's
Logan.
my dog.
That doesn't bark really.
He does bark. You just got to get him hype as fuck. Then he
Fair
yips,
enough.
you know.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh fuck, I think there's a bear. I think they say or something along those lines. They're
Yeah.
like, there's an animal of some sort.
So they start getting nervous, and they're like, "We're gonna head back."
We're gonna head back.
I can't remember what the name of it was. It was something creepy as fuck.
God.
Something about a lamb.
The slaughtered lamb.
The slaughtered lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they start heading back. Long story short, one of them dies a horrific death.
Yes.
The other one is attacked by the werewolf, but the werewolf ends up getting shot by the townspeople because they hear.
They feel guilty, you know.
The shooting scene is ridiculous. So they shoot.
Oh, I thought
the-
you were laughing at me. I was like, did I get something wrong?
I was laughing about the shooting scene because they shoot the werewolf, and then like the screen like kind of goes black, and then the next thing you see, it's like a man laying next to them
Because-
that's
Well,
like
yeah,
dead
'cause he's no
because he
longer-
transitioned back. I know,
I
but it's
think that's
fucking
I think
ridiculous.
that's a
I love
great
it,
shot.
and
I
it's
think it is too.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And it also
I mean-
explains how they're able to be like, oh, it was just this like escaped madman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we fast forward. Old boy was in a coma.
Yes.
God, I wish I were.
Why?
Long sleep, you know.
The longest of sleep.
Sleep.
No expectations of you when you're in a coma.
No
Right.
expectations. Well, there is one. She'll either die or wake up. They're expecting you to do
Well,
one
yeah,
of those.
but it's like, why didn't you pay your rent? Like, I was in a fucking coma.
But the expectation
like-
is you do one of those two things.
Yeah.
Like-
And then you never do it, so you're failing your expectations. As long as you're there, you're not accomplishing both expectations of you. So, there you go. Lawyered. Anyway, he wakes up. He's like, oh my God, my friend's fucking dead. The dude from the American Embassy is like, you're an ungrateful little shit.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
He's like, nobody cares about things you do for him. It's like, you work for the American Embassy. This is your job. That'd be like if someone made me like a Subway sandwich at Subway and they're like, what? What, you didn't like the way I put things on it you didn't want? Like, it's the same thing.
Literally.
You know, and through that, I don't want to go through the whole plot, but essentially we come to find out that this character has been bitten by a werewolf.
And so thus
Is
he
becoming a creature of the night.
And
I thought that was vampires.
I feel like a werewolf is a creature
Any
of the
creature
night.
of the night is a
It
creature
comes
of
out
the night.
during the full moon.
They're
It's not
both
a creature
creatures
of the day.
night because vampires can't be out during the day, and neither can werewolves because of the way of their transformation.
Huh.
Thus making both of them creatures of the night.
Creature of the night.
I was thinking about Rocky.
Yeah, technically Rocky's also a creature of the night.
Because like after I said it, I was like, oh shit.
And that dude doesn't even need to be around during the nighttime. He's just a creature around that night. I hope that you can hear that on there. I don't know if
I
you
could
can.
hear it in my headphones.
Good, okay.
I couldn't tell you.
But and so he's becoming a werewolf, and he's like realizing this, but he's also like, am I just crazy? Like, is this actually happening? Yeah. And this is coupled by the fact that he is now seeing his dead friend, who's like in varying states of like decay.
Some of the
Which
best
are
practical
awesome
effects
effects.
you will ever see.
Yeah, he looks really gross. It's amazing.
It is really amazing. Like, especially thinking about, like, this is 81 and, like, that's all practical effects. And, like, I was just blown away, dude.
Yeah, and so the transformation scene is like super awesome.
The transformation
really
scene is like, I mean, it's so good they made an Academy Award for it. Like, that's the truth, you know?
It goes on for a long time.
It's really
like
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
To watch.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable, but it's like really cool, like the effects and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what's great about a lot of these scenes that people don't ever talk about is now dollies had just kind of been introduced, but they weren't easily accessible. So all of the dolly pan shots in this film, all of them were done by a dude holding a camera and running after things.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's so fucking cool.
And I always think back to either the scene where he's running through the forest in like his mind, you know, like the first time, or the best like pan shot scene is when he's in London and he's chasing that guy in the subway station.
yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
a great scene.
That's
That
a
is-
fantastic scene. I have a story about that scene.
It's such a great,
What happened?
amazing scene. Like,
Well, it didn't happen to me.
Oh, what's your story? I just said what happened. I didn't ask what happened to you.
Oh, sorry.
You said you had a story.
she's so
I said what
narcissistic.
happened.
She's like, nothing happened to me, so why do we need to talk about it anyway?
you said
Like,
you
you
had
brought
a
it up,
story.
bro.
You
I did
teed
bring it up.
yourself up.
So my mom lived in London
Yeah.
at the time that this movie came out.
Oh,
and
wow.
she was an American in London. But she was
Was
not
she
a
an
werewolf.
American werewolf in London?
No.
Like, how do you know though?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I have
Like, your mom could be a werewolf.
Your mom is a woman of mystery as of
She
late.
is.
she is. But that scene scared her so bad because she had to go up that fucking elevator every day.
Like, she
to
took
get-
that subway.
Because
Like the same subway it was shot
You
in.
mean escalator,
Yes.
right?
the escalator, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so she had to go up that escalator every fucking day. And every single day she thought of that scene.
God.
And she was like, I can't fucking handle it.
I don't blame her.
That's so awesome though. I'd be so
Yeah.
psyched. I'd be
that's
stoked
really
to
cool.
go up that escalator.
Yeah, also unrelated but also a great London story from my mom. She was at the London Zoo, and at the time there weren't like the distance. They didn't put the distance between you and the animals.
Did they
that-
have them in like
They were
behind
just-
glass?
they were kind of
or
in like
cages? or-
cages.
Oh
Like,
wow.
you could literally put your hand through.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ.
And so they were all standing there taking pictures of these lions, and this little boy had his foot through the bars. His mom was like letting him do this. He was like 4 or 5.
no.
and
This is
like-
how we lost Harambe.
yeah.
Fun fact: that zoo where Harambe was killed is in our city. It's
Yeah.
in Cincinnati.
No, we felt the reverberations.
Yes,
We did.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a fun
People
fact.
would come to our city and see random people walking the streets as citizens
Yes.
and be like, "Did you know that you killed?" Like, yeah, we know. We've been hearing about it for like 6 months.
But-
we know it sucks. Please quit yelling it at us.
But
We didn't kill that gorilla.
I went to that zoo where Harambe was killed. I was there the day before they killed him.
Holy
No
shit.
way.
Yep.
You saw
Yeah.
Harambe on
I
his
did.
final hour.
I sure did. I saw Harambe on the last day of the last full day of his
Wow.
Existence.
Holy
of his
shit.
painfully short life.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's something.
What happened to this little boy? I need to
Yeah,
know.
did he like lose his foot or what?
No, I
I
mean,
don't want to be in suspense.
so these lion cubs are chewing on his tennis shoe. And the mom is like just kind of laughing and taking pictures until
Yeah.
all of a sudden the little boy goes, "Mom, I can feel their teeth." And like my mom said that she has never seen a mom pull her child away from anything so quickly.
Like, why was his foot in there in the first place?
I don't know. That was just
The British are fucking insane.
I don't even know if it was
Shout out
actually
to anybody
That little-
from Britain listening
This is
to
why
our
y'all
podcast.
lost the Revolutionary War,
And that little
dudes.
cub is like, "These are the worst pies in London." Just eating these kids' toes.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
god.
so those are the two most memorable experiences that my mom told me about when she lived in London briefly. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
God.
We could have called your mom for that story.
that would have been
could've.
fun. We should have done that.
We
Oh,
should have
well.
done that.
Sorry.
We should have fucking done that.
We
Sorry,
still-
Mary.
We stole your 5 minutes.
Oh well.
Time goes on.
I'm sure we'll find something else to call her for.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, I don't know. It's such an interesting movie too, and I mean, I was kind of reading a little bit about this movie because I think the history of it is really cool, and something I think that's really cool about it is like the connection of this movie to like Jewishness, which has been written about a lot because there is an offhand comment made by one of the nurses, like, "Oh, he's Jewish." I checked, meaning that she looked at his
circumcision,
at his wiener.
Which, by the way, if you're American and you're circumcised, you're not necessarily Jewish. It should be noted.
Yeah, no, correct.
Right.
In fact, I'd say a majority of men are circumcised. Even though, by the way, that's unhealthy and people shouldn't do that. But I'm not going to get on my TED Talk here.
but yeah, but maybe in the 80s it was different though. I don't really know.
What do you mean? Circumcision?
Yeah, maybe
it's always been done because of Christianity. It has no health benefits, and it could, you're cutting a kid's penis. It could very well hurt them. Kids have died from it. Kids have lost feeling in their penile glands from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like maybe it wasn't as common for it to be as widespread in the 80s. I don't really know.
It definitely was. This dates back to like the 20s because of like insanely religious overtones in the country. So,
but yeah, so like there's an offhand comment made about the character's Jewishness, and then like the werewolf sort of becomes a metaphor for Jewishness and this like feeling of like being like a savage other as you're thought of. And yeah, I just think that's I think that's a really interesting analysis and interpretation. And I mean, and I think that it's very much based in fact. I think it's an intentional.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely intentional. I mean, the characters also clearly are Jewish. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're clearly Jewish characters.
They very much rolled it out as being an obvious thing.
So so there's that like theme of like being an obvious stranger, like an obvious outsider, in society. And so I think that that's like really interesting too, is like this movie is like groundbreaking in several ways because it's like, it kind of reimagined the werewolf genre as like the werewolf being someone that we can relate to and like sympathize with versus like this outsider monster. Yeah. And then these monsters have always represented in cinema like minorities and underrepresented groups. So then like
and it also
making this monster into someone that we can relate to, and like his Jewishness being an inherent part of that. I think it's really cool. I think this movie's really cool.
It also brings a more bestial end to lycanthropy. Yeah. Because the thing is in common lore with werewolves, it was always wolf humanoid, right? Like it was always very much like, Uncle Jerry's Harry again. Like it's just like a normal
Harry
dude.
Harry Uncle Jerry.
But with this, it goes from being a man to an absolute beast. Like it just goes straight into being a beast.
Which I've always liked more. I don't like the werewolf genre that has.
What about True Blood's take on the werewolf?
The only show I like
Twilight werewolves where they just become literal wolves.
I like Vampire
Diaries, huge wolves.
Yeah, at will.
Oh yeah, they don't need a full moon. Nothing.
They do need to have their shirt off.
Well, yeah, because they'd rip it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
But then why do they need to wear pants?
They just have a lot of pants.
Are they not wearing shirts to save on shirts, but they can't risk saving their dick, so they're not saving on pants?
It's PG-13, dude.
No.
Don't they leave extra pairs of pants?
No, that's not fair.
Around?
We cannot talk about things in the conventions of it being a film. That's not fair. I'm saying it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. They can't think of a reason in the story to make it make sense. So it's bullshit.
Yeah. I feel like pants are more expensive than shirts too.
I mean, definitely.
Definitely.
You can buy T-shirts in a pack.
They just need to wear the long shirts.
You go to enough things, you'll get a bunch of free shirts.
Right.
So,
all these werewolves
you work you quit enough jobs, you get a bunch.
You go to the Goodwill, they got them for so cheap.
I'm pretty sure I've given out uniform shirts to the Goodwill, and so I like to think that somebody is out there in my like CVS polo.
What I want to do is take all my.
I definitely have at least 10 shirts from jobs I've quit.
I have easily that much. What I want to do is to give a lot of shirts of like places I work to Goodwill, but only at places that I worked at where people who buy from Goodwill definitely go there. You know what I mean? Like if I work at like CC's, like put my CC's work shirt because you know that they're going to CC's.
Yeah.
So then everybody thinks they work there when they walk in.
Yeah.
That's the plan. That's the plan. That's the dream. But I think we totally got off topic.
I think we did a little bit because we were talking about Jewish.
We also aren't timing ourselves, so who even knows?
I am.
Oh, you are?
Franny is, yeah.
Loosely. I didn't stop for the technical difficulties that have occurred.
Okay. So so let's get to some of the things we want to talk about with the movie. So what do you guys think individually? What do you think this is the strongest element as far as filmmaking that this movie has?
Definitely like the makeup and like the practical effects. Yeah.
See,
absolutely.
I used to think that, like, and I still think that in a big way because that's like the one. That's a part of it. I think like when you see like the special effects. But now that I've watched it a bunch of times, the thing that everybody sleeps on in this movie is the editing and the cinematography.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this
that's
movie,
true too.
like, if it wasn't for the great effects, it would be noticed for the opposite. Like, it would be noticed for the cinematography.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the cinematography in this movie is really good. Especially, you mentioned this before, the shots in the woods I think are really cool. Where you get to see his kind of like dream sequences and stuff.
And what's great about the shots in the woods is they're so incredible and they technically don't exist.
Right.
Like, that never happened. Like, there wasn't ever really in the woods.
And then like the sort of like final scene where he's like running a rampage. It's like at a theater, right?
Porn theater,
A porn theater, yeah. Where he's like sort of like running this like rampage. I think that scene is shot really well. I think that's a cool scene.
Also, all the dead that were in the porn theater talking to him, like, there's so many, like, that's obviously one of the more comedic scenes, but it's really great.
And so what I was going to say is I think actually, like, maybe my favorite part of it is actually the script. I think the script is really funny. And I think it's, like, it's really clever. And, I think it's just got a really, really solidly written script, and I think that's my favorite part about it.
I feel like this would be a movie I was obsessed with in like 7th grade and would watch over and over again. But unfortunately, we never got that chance because I never saw it in 7th grade. God,
you could still watch it over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, we can.
Pretty good
no, I know, but I mean, like,
times you want.
I feel like it would have been like if I had seen this in 7th grade, I would have just like it would have been like my push, you know.
You would have wanted to be
this would have been
werewolf.
Bridget's Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there are a couple of fan theories too that we could talk about. One of them being that he's not.
Wait, we didn't get to hear Franny's favorite part.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Gee, I'm the one who posed the question. I get snapped at when I talk over you.
No, I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just wanted her to hear hers before you did your thing.
I felt her snapping at me.
No, but my favorite part of the movie is I really like the transition scene, like when he's turning into werewolf, but not just for the practical effects. I like the cinematography of it and like the staging of it. I really like the contrast of like him turning into a fucking like brutally turning into a werewolf in like a very like femme apartment too.
Yeah,
like her place is like so cute and decorative, and
her apartment looks like mine and Bridget's apartment.
Yeah, it's very like
it really does
2021 lesbian like soft core like cottage core like soft vibe type of thing.
I wouldn't say me and Bridget are cottage core.
I know, but I'm just being hyperbolic, but like
but like, it does look like our apartment.
It's like, very like pink and cute and everything, and like you can tell like just very feminine vibes, and then this fucking beast is just turning into a werewolf in the middle of it. I like that scene
because it goes on too long.
I like it too. It's very uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And like I just like when it like is a wide pan shot too, and like you can see the apartment, and then he's just like in the middle of it doing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry, you were talking about fan.
Oh, now you guys want to hear? Okay.
Well, I wanted to hear Franny's answer to the question first.
I'm joking. People love when we're all mean to each other. It's true though. It is true.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple fan theories. One of them being that the phantoms he's seeing are actually not real. And here's the theory behind it. When we're talking about the people of past bloodlines can't, blah blah blah, like they can't go to the other side, like once they're killed by this. If you notice, a lot of the people in the theater that he killed are either of his own or like don't speak to him.
Yeah.
Meaning that if it really was that all the people that have died via his bloodline and werewolf can't pass on to the other side, that theater would be filled with a lot more people.
Wait, but I thought that it was like they can't pass on until the werewolf is killed, but the previous werewolf was killed.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He didn't kill his friend. And you know what I'm saying?
That's true. He didn't.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
And because he's not seeing a room filled with thousands of people, it doesn't make any sense that he's only seeing the ones he killed, meaning maybe he has a memory of those people specifically. And this is his brain going through its lunacy and him feeling guilt. He's only remembering those that had died either by his own hand or that he was present for, even though it should be an entire bloodline's worth of spirits and phantoms.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't really make sense because it's like I can't pass over until the werewolf is killed. But then why would you be here in the first place? Because the werewolf that killed you was already killed.
Yeah, but because it's the care he carried on the werewolf bloodline. That's his logic. But by that logic, there'd be way
a
more
bunch of people.
phantoms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the other thing.
And I mean, I feel like to an extent, like his friend character being there exists more as like a plot device because if he wasn't there, nothing would happen.
And to show off good CG too.
Well,
or not
that
CG,
too.
show off
To
good
good
practical
effects,
yeah.
Because like he's the one who tells him like you have to kill yourself, and so like that's the question with which he's grappling.
And that riles back to him feeling guilt.
The guilt.
And his lunacy is also paired in
Yeah.
with that. So
is
then the
there a
argument
theory
is
that he's not actually a werewolf?
That's
what I was gonna say. I like that.
That was the other theory that
Yeah.
he's not really a werewolf, or that if he is a werewolf, that he's not seeing phantoms. This is his brain showing like the guilt in him. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like he's remembering people that he killed when he supposedly wasn't conscious, but
Right.
of course he was conscious for it. He was moving around and killing people. It's just is his human brain aware of that? And I think that the phantoms show that maybe it is.
Yeah.
And then the argument is he really a werewolf or is he just a serial killer? Because he saw his friend die a horrific death
Yeah.
by another psycho killer. But then but the reason why that doesn't work for him to not be a werewolf at all is because they left in the scene where the doctor goes back to the village.
Yeah.
Seeing another person deal with the existence of werewolves separate from him is showing that werewolves do exist.
I wish they would.
So that's what I was telling her about. If they didn't show the scene where he went back to the town, which by the way does nothing other than validate him thinking werewolves are real. If they left that out of the film,
it would
you
be
can make
more
that
ambiguous.
argument.
It would be what I would say a better movie because
Yeah.
I liked the mystique of like, is he a werewolf? Is he just fucking crazy?
Yeah, because when you're watching the movie, you do wonder at a point like, is he actually a werewolf?
And then there also is the question of the nurse, she approaches him. He dies, but he snarls at her. Is that considered an attack? Did she survive a werewolf attack? Is she going to become a werewolf?
I would think it would have to be a bite.
But he wasn't bitten, I don't believe, by the last werewolf. He was like scratched.
Oh, but I don't think that he like breaks the.
But then what constitutes the attack then?
I think you have to be physically attacked.
I would say like breaking the skin.
Yeah.
And then also like comes the question like, there was the whole like they had sex thing, like
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
what-
that's an attack in a whole different way.
But my point being is like we don't know what constitutes the physical attack because it's not as simple as a werewolf bite.
Yeah.
So there is that element, and then it also harps back to her viewing the dead body of the werewolf turn. Like she's the one who viewed the werewolf turning back into a human, just as he did. Is it like cyclable? Like is it just like
right?
It's a good question.
Yeah. I do think that ending scene is cool because it's like he almost seems to recognize her.
Yeah.
But then it's killed.
Yep.
And it just kind of ends.
Yep. It just ends right there. Very. Just perfect, like just perfect.
Like,
ending.
alrighty, well that was that.
A perfect, just short
Yeah.
stop ending. Like that's what you wanted. Because what are they gonna do? Drag it out? Tell us about the families who died from? Like no, we don't want to hear about that shit. We just like if he's gone, it's over. Like it's the end of the movie. So
yeah.
But yeah, all right. I think. Is there anything else anybody has to say about it?
We could get into ratings.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
I have
what I
anything
was-
else
yeah.
to.
Yeah, I don't think I have
Think I
anything
said
else
it.
either. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I really love this fucking movie. 9.5 out of 10, actually.
Wow.
I've decided. I really fucking love this movie.
It's really high up there
I've
for
decided.
you.
I'm also gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think that it's really good.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I wish they would have left it a mystery. Then it would have been like a 10 out of 10.
It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
All right, cool.
Total
All right.
classic. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll come back with Lost Boys.
Yes.
And we're back.
Hello again.
Hi.
We were lost.
We were some boys and we were
We
lost.
were some lost boys, but now we've been found.
Yes.
Kiefer Sutherland, am I right?
Yeah, I know. What a guy.
What a fucking role. He went from this to being awake for 24 hours at a time.
Who is it?
One of the vampires plays Jack Bauer or Jim Bauer, something
I don't
Bauer.
know.
And the idea of this other show he does, which he's more famous for than anything, is he would tackle terroristic threats in a period of 24 hours, and he was just awake the whole time.
God.
And
Wow.
that'd be a season, 24 episodes, 24 hours. And then the next season's another 24 hours. I'm like, this motherfucker doesn't sleep. He has to be so tired. You know what I mean? And then I thought, it's because he's a vampire.
Wow.
That ties together, baby.
That's crazy.
He somehow survived. Anyway, Lost Boys. I mean, like,
Another
there's
80s
so much to
film.
say.
There's so much about this.
This
In the
one's
same,
much more 80s than the last film.
Oh,
but it's interesting
definitely.
because, like, in the same way that American Werewolf in London changed werewolf movies, like, this movie changed vampire movies.
It definitely made
Absolutely.
him sexier.
Yeah, I mean, it made them
Logan's face. You can't see it, but
it made them younger.
Yeah, I don't think like things like Vampire Diaries and shit like that would exist if like this didn't.
Yeah,
do
or
it.
like even Twilight.
yeah.
Or like Buffy. Like Buffy borrowed from this so heavily.
Why are you acting like that's crazy?
When did Fright Night come out?
I mean, this is like sexy vampires. Is
I
Friday
know.
Night sexy vampires?
I know, but what I'm trying to figure out is like how much do we really owe to Lost Boys versus Fright Night?
I don't like. It came out 2 years prior.
Fright Night came out 2 years prior to Lost
Yeah.
Boys.
Friday
Okay.
Night came out 2 years before Lost Boys.
Okay, well, I mean, we can still call it a bunch of things, but
I mean, I think the Lost Boys has a lot to do with like making vampires in like a younger teen image.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And like,
It's pretty much The Outsider with The Outsider.
yeah,
with
pretty
vampires.
much.
Oh my God, you're right.
And I used to love The Outsiders. This is like how Bridget feels about the last movie. Like if I would have seen this movie in like 7th grade or something, I would have been obsessed and watched it.
Like,
My
same,
friend
though.
Chelsea, shout out to Chelsea, loves this fucking movie. She like literally will do anything.
That doesn't
for
I
this
love
surprise
this
me.
movie. I think it's a
She
great
definitely
movie.
seems like the type.
I think I love the aesthetics of this movie.
Yeah.
I love the way these vampires dress. These vampires dress like a bunch of lesbians go to brunch.
They really do.
That's really how we be looking.
Or do lesbians dressed like vampires from the 80s going to brunch?
I think it's both. I think it goes both ways.
I think one
we
predates
love
the
Doc
other.
Martens.
when
Doc Martens and what is the other one? That everybody the sandals. What are they?
Birkenstocks.
Birkenstocks.
Those are
I
both
love my
lesbian
Birkenstocks.
trademarks.
I literally have Berks here with me, even though it's
Yeah,
snowed outside.
They're fucking gross. I want to give
Bridget-
my opinion on Birkenstocks real fast, but I love that you love them.
I
So
love my
That's fair.
Birkenstocks.
Don't worry, I'm not going to attack you in your Birkenstocks.
I appreciate that.
but Birkenstocks in general are fucking disgusting.
Why?
Because you start seeing the fucking outline of the foot
It's
in the fucking Birkenstock. You can see the fucking toe prints, and they keep these bitches in there. Even
Bro.
though there's a permanent shadow print, like you went into the shadow realm in Yu-Gi-Oh and shit, and your fucking Birk came back with the print of a monster
Bro,
on it.
listen, it's because they're made out of cork and it forms to your fucking foot.
But that's what makes them gross.
No, that's what makes them comfortable.
No, because cork, I worked with corks and stuff in like stage plays and everything. They are very absorbent. All your foot gunk is in that fucking Birkenstock.
Well, you seal them most time. Most people do a sealing.
See, I didn't seal
but it
mine,
doesn't-
and mine are fucked.
But it doesn't matter
I also
either
didn't
way.
seal
It's
mine. I
still
didn't
the,
know.
The sheer concept of it forming to your foot also means that it's taken in your foot gunk.
They're so comfortable.
Listen, like I
Gunk
said,
'em up.
I love that you guys love your Birkenstocks, but as a design idea, they're like it's like a cast iron skillet for your feet.
oh my god!
I love a cast iron skillet too, bitch. It's
just-
amazing.
but I just can't deal with them post COVID, like how gross they truly are.
I will say this, like, as both a lesbian and a person with chronic foot hurty disease, Birkenstocks are the best shoes. They are the most comfortable. Because they form to your foot, and so like if you have weird feet, which I do, like they form to your weirdness and like support them in a very good way. Doc Martens are also extremely comfortable, amazing arch support.
Can we talk about how
Also good ankle support too. Sorry, that's my lesbian advertisement.
I would say lesbians are practical.
Yeah, good ankle support. I like
That's kind of how they do things.
can we talk about how like last night I was coming to your house, like coming up the walk, and it was snowing so badly, and I was in my
because
Birks.
you're not supposed to wear Birks in a snowstorm.
Birkenstocks are all weather apparel, dude. Just pop
Yeah.
a pair of socks
She
under those
fucking-
babies and you're good to
I
go.
wiped
Actually,
out.
why don't
Yeah,
you-
she ate shit outside because of her
She did.
fucking Birkenstocks
I
in a
did.
snowstorm.
I mean,
Why
she's also
not?
high in Minecraft, so there's that aspect too.
I
Why-
was a little high in Minecraft.
Why not? I lost my train of thought. I was like, my brain like left the no. Why not wear socks with Birks all the time so you don't get disgusting foot gunk in your shoes?
I always wear socks on my Birks.
That's
Almost
not true.
always.
You wearing barefoot all the time.
Almost always.
No.
I feel like I tried
The
to
other
do
day
socks.
we went out in the snow and you were wearing Birkenstocks with no socks, and I was like, "You're insane."
That's because we were going out for like 5 minutes.
She wears them without socks. Don't let her tell you she doesn't. Because sometimes you want a sandal, you want to let the toes breathe. Other times you want socks.
I'm just saying it's a lot different, like as far as like a cleanly level than normal flip flops, because your feet just beat off of normal flip flops. Like they don't soak in their essence. There's literally essence. There's dead skin of you. If you tear open your Birkenstock, you're gonna find flakes like it has fucking dandruff.
I don't like to think about that.
But I'm the only one wearing them. What the fuck do I care?
No, that's true. But when you're put in a position where you're either wearing someone else's Birks or touching them, you're a disgusting, vile human being.
No, you don't wear other people's Birks.
If you wear other people's Birks, you're gross.
Especially because other people's
Agreed.
Birks, if they've been wearing them for any length of time, they're not going to fit you right.
Yeah. Or
I bought used Birks, but they were used once.
Gently.
She wore them
here-
once.
But
They
here's
didn't
the
fit her.
thing. The sneaker market, the shoe market always has a resale value to it. People buy used Birks. That's a thing.
I don't know why you would. It wouldn't be comfortable.
But my thing is that's the same thing as buying like a pile of dookie for me. Like it's just as cleanly in my mind.
I don't
It's
know. I don't
disgusting.
think it's that weird. I think that they're...
You'd buy used Birks?
And well, no, I wouldn't buy used Birks because they wouldn't be comfortable because they're already molded to someone else's foot.
Even the words you're using sound gross. They're molded to someone else's foot.
Well, it's like you break them in and it starts to conform to the shape of your foot. And I think that any shoe you wear,
Okay,
even if you're wearing
fine.
sneakers, your sweat's still going to be seeping in the
Let's
shit.
put it this way. You're saying you wouldn't rebuy them solely because they're already broken down into a certain place, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be comfortable.
All right. But if they were to be still comfortable, you'd buy used Birks?
Well, the whole point of Birks is that they break to your foot.
Let's say Birks got like a bounce back value to them, right? Like they just slowly like reform.
Okay.
Would you buy them then, even though they got dead people's skin in it?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's no different than buying
Dead
any other
people's
pair of
skin?
shoes.
No.
Like sneakers.
No.
Sneakers, you're still sweating in it.
No. But your skin is not going into the fucking shoe.
I think with any shoe, your skin is gonna be.
No,
in
not
there.
to the level of Birks. That's why they're so comfortable. They form to your feet. They're like fucking sucking it.
They become your foot.
They suck your foot. They blow your foot. They blow job your foot.
I mean, I don't think
It's
that
the same
different
as
than
buying like a fucking used mattress.
I don't think it's that different than wearing anybody else's, like any other shoe.
It is different.
Because your foot still sweats. You still lose skin.
What makes Birks magical to you is what makes it different. Because it's soaking in your foot. It's taking in your essence.
I mean, I still probably wouldn't buy a pair of used Birks because they're not that expensive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would just buy a new pair. It's not like it's. I don't know. I like them. They're really comfortable.
And also, like,
I'm gay.
There's.
I can't. There's not much more I can say about that.
I'm not disputing whether you should or shouldn't buy your own Birkenstocks. Listen, it'll gross me out, but that's up to you.
It's fine.
It's like, like people wear like puka shell necklaces. I'm like, ew, but like that's you. You can do that shit. But
when I see a straight man wearing cargo shorts, I'm like, ew, but you can do that.
But what you can expect me to do is to sit here and be like, wearing Birkenstocks is the same level of as a pair of flip-flops. It's not. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. It captures the essence of you.
I wouldn't say it's the same as wearing a flip-flop, but I would say it's the same as wearing like a sneaker.
I don't agree.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. I've got many developed thoughts on this. By the way, this is not apparently a Lost Boys podcast.
I was about to say, I think it's time to move on.
I
to
agree.
hot
I guarantee
Birkenstock
you the
debate.
part that's going to become a clip is my Birkenstock.
Yeah,
rant.
and
no one's
you're
going to
gonna
give a
get-
fuck what anybody has to say about Corey Feldman.
You're gonna get hate for it because
I feel like-
Birkenstocks are very well loved.
I feel like you should get hate. I feel like it's homophobic of you to say that.
homophobic for me to
Yeah.
for me to say you can own Birkenstocks, but I
to
think they're
deride
gross.
a piece of our culture like that.
First of all, Franny, have you ever owned a pair of Birkenstocks?
I literally own a pair. Yes.
All right, so you're either a culture vulture or this is culture appropriation because she just claimed Birkenstocks for the lesbians.
I don't
I
really
literally
feel that
used
way.
to only wear Doc Martens
I
in
feel
high
like-
school, and then I have Birkenstocks.
But
And
you
I
have
love
to
them.
consider that like your formative years were shaped by like with a lesbian though.
You're right.
Because you were very close to a lesbian in
Yes.
your years. So like I feel like you have
This
it rubbed
lesbian
off.
wouldn't be caught dead with a fucking
No, definitely
Birkenstock or
not.
Doc Martin.
Definitely
Really?
not. I
I'm
did it.
sure
I
her
did it
friend
because I
made
was
fun of
edgy.
her.
I did it because I was
Are
edgy.
Birks edgy?
Docs are. I didn't
Well,
have
yeah.
Birks until senior year, but Docs are edgy.
Anyway,
All
this
I'm
is
saying
so
is
not the point.
Previous to you guys, I wouldn't say I was prejudiced towards Birkenstock users, but I had some bad runs.
There's a very
I'm just saying.
edgy teen picture that me and my friends took in high school where we were all wearing our black Doc Martin boots that day
Nice.
and black like pants with them, and we're just standing in a circle and it's just a picture of our feet
Of your
being
boots,
edgy.
nice.
Yeah.
You know how like Pepe the Frog was reappropriated by the far right?
Yeah.
I feel like Birkenstocks were reappropriated by people who don't like to shower. Like, I feel like that's not all of you, but it's a good amount. I've seen some fucking gross ass feet, some black feet. Like, the bottom of their foot looks the same as the top of their Birk. It's
Ew.
fucking disgusting. These dirty fucking hippies should wash their fucking feet because they're just laying more. It's like they're making more of the gunk together. If neither end is changing, they're just making more of it, baby.
So like gunk factory in there.
Yeah, it's a gunk it's an endless gunk factory.
Okay, I am not one of those people, but
I didn't say you were. I said that, but
yeah, no, I know, but I'm just
you know what I
saying.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like I play Magic the Gathering. Does every person who plays Magic the Gathering seem like me? No, I'd say a majority of them wear Birkenstocks. But you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we should move on now.
We should talk about the Lost
But
Boys.
this will be the moment that's clipped, I promise you. This is going to be the part that everybody cares about. Anyway,
Oh, everybody sound off in the comments about how you feel about Birkenstocks.
Definitely. I feel like I laid it out. I really, really put myself out there. I'm really vulnerable right now.
Yeah, and I think that I made a good argument for the comfort level and the perks of Birkenstocks. So I feel like I would like.
And
to
I didn't
hear-
say to eradicate them, just eradicate some of the people who wear them,
fair enough.
or at least their practices.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, are you condoning genocide in this?
genocide of Birkenstocks wearers.
The Birkencost.
Oh my god, no. That's terrible.
Oh my god. Did you know one
Jesus.
of the since Trump's not president anymore? I just want to say this one last thing about him. You know, one of his like staffers wrote the Hall of Cost on their Twitter.
I'm
Instead
sorry,
of the
what?
Holocaust, they wrote the Hall of Cost.
That's funny.
Jesus
Bone after the
Christ.
teeth.
Bone at the teeth.
The Hall of Cost.
Boward Woward. Anyway, we're moving on.
The
I don't know if
Lost
I
Boys.
can. Okay, keep going. I'm processing.
It's the Hall of Cost.
I'm just gonna be quiet for a while while I
That's like
process this.
GameStop. It's just like a hall where everything's really expensive because they're always really small, like a hallway.
Right.
They're the Hall of Cost.
Yeah, don't even talk to me about GameStop right now.
Oh, GameStop. You know, we shouldn't.
My favorite TikTok
We
that
can,
I
get
see.
we can get in real trouble for talking about
But
GameStop.
no,
so
I
be
know.
careful.
I think like fucking.
Actually, I have to say a disclaimer. In no way is this financial advice. Do not make any legal.
No, but I was gonna
We have
say
to say it. No, seriously, they're striking down YouTube videos
Okay.
constantly. This is not financial advice. Thank
No,
you.
it isn't.
my favorite.
I don't know anything about stocks. I watched Wolf of Wall Street like one time.
That's my favorite TikTok right now is a TikTok of a girl like standing in her kitchen just kind of nodding yes, and it was like all women right now when their husbands are telling them about the stock market and
Yeah.
fucking GameStop, and she's just like and I was
Like
like that was
me.
literally
Wow.
me.
Me when Madison was
It's just
explaining it to
wow.
me.
Yeah,
I was very early to the game. I saw that forming, and then I told Franny about it, and then the next day it was like an explosion.
Insane.
But we in no way are financial advisors. We have no idea how the stock market works. We're pretty sure that if you listen to our advice, you will lose everything.
I'm literally a communist. Like, don't ask me. Again,
Anyways.
Wolf of Wall Street one time, and I was mostly focused on Margot Robbie.
I think it's time to talk about Lost Boys.
I think it is.
I think we talked
You know
about
what though?
literally
Now would be a
everything
really
else.
good time to review Wolf of Wall Street. Just throwing that out
We
there.
should do that. That would be really fun.
Let's
I
do
love that
and We'll
movie.
do Wall Street and Wolf of Wall Street.
Guys, we're hanging out today. We could watch that all together.
do the Big
and-
Short.
we couldn't. You want my
It's not that good.
you want my personal opinion on The Big Short? It's a big fucking shit. I hate that movie. And the worst part is it has everything to where I should like it. Like it's got everything in it that I should like, and it is a fucking snore, dude.
I don't really remember it that well.
It's not good.
I think I watched it.
It's got my boy Gosling. It's got my boy Corell, and it's still fucking terrible. It's terrible.
Okay, can we talk about the Lost Boys
Don't-
now?
don't
Jesus
watch
fucking
Big Short.
Christ.
Okay. Also, don't watch Call Me by Your Name anymore. Just saying.
Don't-
That's canceled. That-
yeah, I watched Nocturnal Animals the other night and it felt real weird about
The
it.
Lone Ranger should already have been. You know, they shot. They've reshot, or they shot a Call Me by Your Name too. That's
yeah, I know.
done. It's
and we'll
finished.
never see it. No one will ever see it.
I guarantee you it's gonna come out.
You think?
Oh yeah.
I never watched it to begin with, so
Oh, that's really sad. You didn't get to see it when it was still like a lovable
When it was
movie.
untainted. I
When
mean,
it was a beautiful story.
yeah,
Really-
it was.
really
It was
pretty
still
movie.
a little weird, but like, I mean,
It had more to do with the soul. You know.
Yeah.
The soul.
can we talk about the fucking Lost Boys?
Yeah.
For the love of God.
I'm begging at this point to talk about the Lost
Sorry.
Boys.
Sometimes things are just more interesting.
We got a little off track. Not to say the Lost Boys isn't interesting. I do love it.
Okay, so Lost Boys.
Should we do plot real quick?
Yeah, definitely plot.
Yeah.
Okay, so a kid and his brother and their mom move to somewhere in California.
It's
Can't
like a
remember
small
where.
town in California.
But they have like the highest murder rate in the world.
in
Might I
Northern California specifically.
I'm a little annoyed that they used they shot at the Jersey Shore for some things when they're in California.
Yeah.
Because the Jersey Shore is very identifiable.
Right.
And there's clearly elements of the Jersey Shore. Like, they might as well have put Mike the Situation in, like, a background shot. There's elements of the Jersey Shore very clearly on display. And it's like, we're in Northern California.
The main vampire girl love interest is just played by Snooki.
right?
Yeah, Snooki's, like, hunting vampires with Corey Feldman.
It doesn't feel like California. Like, this
like,
movie doesn't feel
Ron,
like
stop.
California.
It does when, like, they're, like, it feels like Northern California in moments where they're, like, at the house and stuff, or when they're, like, running on that bridge and they all decide to do that suicide pact thing they were doing.
Right.
Where if you were a person and you saw that, you'd be freaking the fuck
You'd be
out.
like, what?
Yeah, no, definitely.
You'd be calling 911 like, hello, yes, I need somebody here immediately.
Yeah, and then we need another car for these kids. You need to bring me to the hospital because I'm so utterly shocked. And also, there's some kids trying to kill themselves.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so this kid, his brother and their mom moved to Northern California. The town they're moving to has the highest murder rate in the world. They're sort of like a really big, like,
Which should have been
boardwalk.
Gary.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Imagine this movie taking place in Gary.
Pause this. Don't pause the podcast. How good would a remake of The Lost Boys be if it was in the hood?
That would be
in Gary?
amazing. Lost Boys in the Hood.
I
Lost
would
Boys in the Hood.
Dude, and Corey
Bro.
Feldman is still in it because he's for some reason in all the sequels, but this time it's because he's taking a cross-country trip and he finds a bunch of vampires in the hood.
Hell yeah.
Can you imagine? Like,
That
in my
would be
grandma's
amazing.
neighborhood, a bunch of vampire
That would be
hoodlums.
great.
That's a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
They're just like in a house that's like boarded up.
Yeah, they're sleeping in the SS ghetto.
God.
So,
Oh my god.
have you guys ever already told the story on the podcast before?
I don't know.
I don't know about on
think
the
so.
podcast.
Okay,
but-
so I used to, my grandmother lives in a neighborhood in Gary. And this neighborhood is pretty deserted. I'd say it's still pretty crime-ridden and dangerous, but
Gary is in Indiana. It's right outside of Chicago. Just
People-
for people that
I
don't
feel
know.
I feel like a lot of
know.
people
I
know
feel
where.
like people know where Gary
There's
is.
definitely people out there that don't know where it is or what it is.
I gotta think
continue.
it's in the top 20 most notable cities in the U.S., though.
Okay, we always say on podcasts you should give a little bit of background, and I just did that. So there you fucking
I'm not
go.
attacking you. I'm just simply elaborating on the thought of saying what the city is. I'm not attacking you
I'm
for
just
saying
joking. Continue.
that. Story's over. No, I'm just kidding. Done. I quit. I'm a lost boy, and I just walk out. No, so the idea, so it's like a totally like torn down, dilapidated area, and there in the driveway of one of the houses near my grandmother's house was a stolen boat. It was spray painted SS Ghetto without the H on the side, and when
Nice.
you went up to it, it was filled with malt liquor bottles, unlicensed guns and Funyuns, and condoms.
Jesus.
Party boat.
Somebody really had a time in that.
And then the neighborhood took it, I guess, and they repainted it, and now it's at like the top of their neighborhood. As like a, look at this cool thing we have.
Doesn't it like say the neighborhood's name or something
Yeah,
on it now?
yeah,
It
like
doesn't
Miller
say
or
like
whatever,
SS
yeah.
Really funny.
Ghetto anymore.
I love that.
I love
SS
that a
Ghetto.
lot.
I have a picture of it somewhere. Maybe I can find it and put it as the thumbnail, but it
Nice.
was so long ago.
But yeah, so they move. There's this like big kind of like boardwalk amusement park, and that's like the place to be for all the kids. So they're all hanging out there the first night, and the brother, he rides a motorcycle. He's a little bit
The
of a
older
bad boy,
brother?
the older
Yeah.
brother. He meets a girl, and he thinks that girl is real cute, and so he tries to like get with her, and but then she's got this boyfriend. This boyfriend's in like this big motorcycle gang, and they like make trouble all over the place. They do. Everybody's like yelling at them all the time.
like, you're not allowed
You
here.
made the Lost Boys sound like
Get
Team
out.
Rocket.
Yeah.
They make trouble all over the place and prepare for double.
But yeah, I mean they're just generally like the bad boys,
Yeah.
So he ends up falling in with this group because he likes this girl. They take him to this like hangout place. It's like a sunken hotel. And so they take him there and they play a bunch of weird mind tricks on him in like a really cool scene.
like, you're eating maggots.
And yeah, that's
And he's
kind
like,
of
I'm
shit.
eating maggots. And like, no, it's rice. And he's like, oh, it's rice.
He's like, which is it, motherfucker?
Which, by the way, That's part of my problem with this movie.
You don't like it?
Listen, I like Lost Boys. Don't get me wrong, but there's just some things about it where I'm like, why are we doing this? That element of it is just like, look, it's maggots. No, it's like it's just like any amount of seriousness you want me to give to this, any amount of like sex appeal you want me to see in these boys is lost when they're playing like the most juvenile of pranks on each other.
But
you know
I think
what I mean?
that adds to the Lost
does
Boys,
too.
these like juvenile children.
No, I know.
It shows how immature they are.
Let me finish my thought. But my point is, it's contradicting. You're painting two different pictures of the same group of boys, where you want them to be sexy and macho, but you also want them to be stupid and childlike. And I feel like sometimes those things can come together, but it doesn't for this movie.
I think like it does because it shows what their external image is versus what they actually are being like.
I think this movie is also representative of like teenage boyhood, and it's like being caught in that place between being like a man and being like still a child, and like not knowing how to move on from that place.
But in the same breath, though, they're seen as like predator. Like, I understand that there's a duality that they're trying to accomplish. I even get that they're doing these things to try to show you both ends of this kind of group, right? Mm-hmm. My argument is it's just not
you just
good
feel like
enough.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just not good enough for it to be considered like a great film. Is it fun? Yeah. And I think it's a fun watch. I think you should watch it, especially if you love 80s camp.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say, like, I don't want to like make any I don't want anybody to assume that I think this is like a masterpiece of filmmaking.
This movie's goal was to be cool as fuck,
and it is.
But it isn't.
is.
That's the argument.
I think this movie's cool as fuck.
No, it's fun. It's funny. It's a great watch. But it's not like actually like it's like when you know like a nerdy person who's like trying really hard to be cool. That's this movie.
I thought it was actually good. I like this movie a lot.
I'm not saying it's bad.
I think it's like fun and it's campy and it's got like cool aesthetics to it.
Right.
And
See, that's where you lose me. I just don't see the aesthetics being cool. I see it being a fun adventure movie or like a fun like like it's kind of like a Weekend at Bernie's style like 80s comedy.
I don't think so at all.
It totally.
I think it's definitely more dark.
If you were to tell me that, no, that's the thing.
I think it's more of a comedy than it is a.
Yeah, it's not very dark. It feels kind of like a John Hughes vampire movie.
I don't get that at all from this movie. I don't get that at all.
I think this movie is like trying to be a like funny.
That's
a darkly funny vampire movie with like
sex appeal.
I don't get that much.
That's
I mean, there's a little bit of comedy, but this movie's not like overtly
I think
funny.
this movie has a lot of comedy.
This is kind of proving. This is kind of proving my
funny.
point, where I feel like their duality wasn't successful. I think people could watch this movie, and they're not like okay. I think they were trying to pass off. These are cool, sexy. You want to be these guys. These guys are the fucking vampires, baby. Oh my god, sex appeal all over, blah blah blah, right in your face. While also being like, isn't this really fucking funny and ridiculous? But I feel like the duality doesn't come together. Like, it doesn't accomplish that. Even though there's moments where the movie wants you to take these characters so seriously. But I'm like, bro, you were just pretending that rice was maggots.
I don't know. I don't think that the movie wants us to take them that seriously.
It definitely does. Like especially the way scenes are set up. Like, especially like during like fights and like infighting moments. Or like when he's discovering that he's a vampire and everything. Like,
I think the comedy comes from the younger brother and their shenanigans.
No, but
I don't
it
think
also-
the comedy comes from the Lost Boys.
I disagree entirely. I think not
my
entirely. I think they're both comedic.
My take of this movie is, I feel like it wants to be a sort of campy, over the top, dark horror, like dark comedy horror movie. Like, I think that's what it's trying to be.
Their goal is definitely sex appeal as well, because this is at a time where this was like a promiscuous time in filmmaking with teen films.
I mean, I do think that there is a goal to have the vampires be kind of like mysteriously sexy, but then I think that
I think that they fail at that so epically, where none of these vampires are coming off sexy at all.
But I think that to me is what the comedy of it is.
But I don't think that was the goal in mind for that particular setup of characters.
But I do think there is like a darkness and a suspense to the movie, and I think that like I think that the action scenes are really cool. There's a lot of like kind of gore in the movie, and like that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But also, like, not a whole lot actually happens in this movie, so like that's kind of interesting too. I don't know. I like my take of this movie. My interpretation of it is it's like a like a dark horror comedy is what my take of it would be.
It feels a little Goonies too, like a more
little bit,
serious
yeah.
Goonies.
To me, that shocks me you say that because you were just saying that you don't.
I said a more serious Goonies.
Okay, sorry, didn't realize that.
No,
was...
I feel like there's almost like 2 movies happening at the same time, but it works.
No duality. See.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I think
2 different movies.
I almost feel like it was on purpose. Like it's showing.
It was,
like
but the movie should blend, and it shouldn't even be. If you
I
want,
like how it blends. I think it blends enough, and I think it's good.
All right, if we're talking about like making,
I don't need it to be a masterpiece.
I'm not saying it should be. I'm telling you what I think of the movie. No one's arguing that I think the movie's bad. I don't think it's bad. I'm just telling you what was trying to be accomplished and what happened. My statement is not on whether the movie was good, bad, or awful. My statement is what was the director and writer trying to do, and what happened is not the same thing. That's my only argument here. This wanted to be an equal part fun 80s movie mixed with a sex appeal, kind of like...
I think it did just that because that's what I said it just did.
I think they didn't. They had too much Goonies, not enough Twilight.
I think it's really hard
I like that description.
I think it's really hard to make that movie happen. Like a fun 80s movie that's also like dark and sexy.
It is.
And so I don't necessarily feel like if that's what they were trying to achieve, I don't think they achieved that. I think what they ended up achieving was this sort of like black comedy.
Agree completely.
But I think that the movie that came from it is actually does that really successfully, even if that wasn't necessarily its intention.
And that I agree with. But my original statement that not everybody, remember Franny, was like jumping on me over is arguing whether that they accomplished the intended goal or if they accomplished something entirely different. They accomplished something entirely different from what they wanted.
I don't care what their intention was. I like how the movie turned out.
Why are you getting so upset with me?
Because I like this movie.
I don't know. I don't think that if their intention was to make these like darkly like sexy mysterious vampires, I don't know that was achieved. I think the vampires are honestly more of a bit of a comic element. Like they're
For
like
sure.
But if you listen to Franny's opinion, she was actually saying the opposite.
Yeah, but I
feel like the vampires aren't the comedic part of it. I feel like
I think there's a lot of fun to be had with those ridiculous vampires. They look like a bunch of lesbians.
I think it's
brunch.
90% comedy. I really do.
Really?
I think it's dark comedy. I think
I
it's
just really love this movie.
Yeah, I think it's like gory, gross comedy, and and I like that a lot. And I think that there's a lot of similarities between this movie and An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
because of the way that the monster becomes the comic element of it in a way.
There's tons of ways this overlays, like there is also a sense, I mean, like the main character of An American Werewolf was sexualized a lot at the time of the movie coming out. Like people called him like the sexy werewolf in London. Like that was the whole thing. I feel like American Werewolf in London, he went in for a concept and he accomplished exactly what he wanted. And that's awesome. And that's what makes it a little bit better of a film in my eyes. Because I feel like there was no missed moments. There was no jokes that didn't catch. That movie was like pitch perfect for what he wanted. This movie, there's jokes you don't laugh at that aren't funny, that probably weren't funny then, that didn't exactly land. And that's okay. Because not every comedy has a joke that every single joke lands. I mean, even The Hangover, which is considered like a masterclass in comedy, doesn't have every single joke landing. This movie just didn't accomplish everything it was going for, and that's okay.
Yeah, but I still maintain that I really like this, like the dark aesthetics of this movie, and then coupled with the comedy, I think it like works in a really interesting way. We didn't really finish summarizing, but to do that, he falls in with this crowd. He gets turned into a vampire, but before he becomes a full vampire where he has to feed on people, that can be stopped by killing the leader of the vampires. Yeah. So him, his brother, and some other 2 kids in the neighborhood, hatch this plot to take them down, and violence ensues. So that's kind of like the brief sort of rundown of what happens here.
And the mom goes on a date with the head vampire and doesn't even know.
Yeah,
right?
the head vampire who's like masquerading as human, which I think is actually a really cool plot line. I think that's fun.
And to further prove that I feel like they were trying to be sexy, like to show the intent, is the following sequels, which had a lot of the same people working with it. Even Corey Feldman, they dropped the comedy. It is missing from these sequels.
Really? Wow.
It is all
I haven't seen any sequels to this movie, so I couldn't say.
Tribe, and then there's another one. And basically, Corey Feldman's grown up to be like an essential vampire hunter. And it's the same. It's literally the same concept. Kid moves to town. Bunch of vampires like, you could be a vampire too. And he's like, all right, I'll be a vampire too. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole movie. And they do an updated version of Cry Little Sister.
Yeah.
Which is like, if we're talking about campy movie songs, like I actually think Cry Little Sister is almost more iconic than Bad Moon Rising.
Yeah.
Cry Little Sister in The Lost Boys is iconic. There is no better, like, they do, like, the slow-mo 80s movements during the song.
Yep.
The song is, like, so fucking 80s. I love that song. It works perfectly in the movie.
And I think that's a big difference between American Werewolf in London and this movie. This movie is so 80s, it, like, is painful.
If it wasn't actually made in the 80s, you'd have that same thing you said about Scooby-Doo. You'd be annoyed by how much they're trying to pound in that it's the 80s.
Right, but so, like, this movie
80s.
is so 80s, but then American Werewolf in London is kind of, in some way, like, timeless. Like, it exists outside of the time it was made in.
Yeah, it could. They could do a reboot of it whenever and make it
like
different.
the only
Which is not
scene
me
where you're
saying
like,
that we should. I'm not telling anybody that we should do that.
Don't
If
do
you're
it.
out there listening, no, you don't need to. I don't want it.
But the only time that, like, you really feel the timeline is when he's on the subway train and there's all those punks, you know?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
that's the whole Lost Boys movie.
Yeah.
It's covered in 80s nostalgia
Yeah.
when it wasn't nostalgic yet. And they abandoned that in the following sequels. And I think the reason why is because there was an attempt for it to be like sexy vampire boys that, like, you want to just kiss on with your mouth. Like,
Yeah.
that was the goal, to make them sexy. And so I don't think it accomplished that at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main thing.
I didn't find the vampires sexy.
Not even a little bit.
I found
Not
them
even
more
a
of
little
like
bit.
the comic monster element. But I do think that, like, something I will say for the Lost Boys that I really like about it is that that same thing that I really like about American Werewolf in London is that kind of like otherness sense. And like I was saying before, like sort of that teenage boyhood, like existing between boyhood and manhood, and like the importance of these like very intense male bonds competing against the desire to like meet a woman and like date a girl and like get married and like move on into manhood. And so I think like this movie has like some interesting things to say about that, of like the male bonds being like join us, stay young forever, versus grow up, meet the girl, get married, and like how you have to leave that stuff behind in order to do that. So yeah, I think that's really interesting, and like just that otherness aspect of it I think is really cool.
You hear our little dog
Oh yeah,
screaming?
absolutely.
You want to go check on her? Franny?
Do we hear her on podcast?
You definitely can hear her. 'Cause I can hear her through the
Oh, I feel like
headphones.
she's done now.
Hold on,
nope.
pause. Hey, sorry, had to go shut up the little dog.
Dang old little Mila.
Chihuahuas be barking.
They really do.
And then we just got on topic talking about something off audio about this movie, but I was kind of in the other room the whole time, so I didn't hear any of it, so I really don't know what you guys are talking about. So I'm definitely not the one to intro this topic that you guys were going to bring up, so I'm going to stop talking now.
So apparently, this is a big yikes, but both of the stars, well, two of the stars in this,
Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
yeah, were both like egregiously abused during their time in working.
And Corey Feldman has talked about a lot of like the abuse that he faced as a child star. So
Yeah,
that's really sad. And also, I mean, but it's cool that he's doing that work now and like is talking about it, because it is like such a problem in Hollywood with child stars because they're so vulnerable.
he also apparently was horrifically abused by his mom.
Dang.
Not necessarily sexually that I've read so far. I'm just skimming this article, but she did like begin telling him how flawed he was at age 4 and started dyeing his hair blonde. She tortured him about his weight and called him fat, and eventually force fed him diet pills. When she caught him sneaking 2 cookies when he was 5, she made him stand facing a wall for an hour, and then went off. He's reported that she went off on an insane verbal rant.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy.
Here's the thing too. I always talk about the documentary An Open Secret, and the reason why it's even more important, which sounds insane, but it's even more important than it used to be, is as long as people are ignoring that this kind of stuff happens, you also give a talking strength to people who are like into QAnon and insane conspiracy theories, because this is real. This is really happening. Children are abused constantly in the entertainment industry. And what happens when everybody denies that and people ignore it for the sake of not dealing with an icky subject or talking about something that people don't want to talk about, because it makes you feel weird about supporting films and watching films with children in it.
Right.
But by people ignoring it all the time, what it does is it gives strength to people who want to make even more outlandish conspiracy theories and like infect everybody's minds in a sense. Like there are people who believe that celebrities not only molest children but kill them and drink their blood. That's a real thing. So I think it's very important to be open about these kind of situations when we're reviewing films that have these like backstories of very sensitive topics, to be very open and like you know,
and I mean, we just like literally were just Googling Corey Feldman and learned.
I was gonna mention it when we came back because I knew a little bit, but you guys looked up even more stuff that I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
So I think that should be mentioned. I think that there's allegations even about the Lost Boys cast and crew.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't know what's legitimate and what's not, but all of these allegations and statements should be vocalized. So I just think that had to get out of the way in order for us to honestly talk about the movie.
Yeah.
So there's that. Now let's maybe get into the less depressing things about this movie, since we've acknowledged that.
Right.
What do you think is what is the element that made this so notable that it became iconic as it is? Because you can't be a film person, you can't be into pop culture without having an awareness of the Lost Boys, I think.
Right, because I mean we were kind of talking about it earlier when we were talking about American Werewolf in London, like how much this movie inspired vampire media to come, especially Bridget and I have been, Buffy is like Bridget's favorite show.
It is. It's my comfort show if I'm like sick or sad or I just watch Buffy.
Yeah, Bridget has a Buffy tattoo, not of Buffy, but a Buffy related tattoo.
I do. If you look on our Twitter, you can
shout out
to our Twitter. You can sort of see this video I made of the progress of getting it. It was the most painful tattoo I've ever had thus far, because I'm a pussy, and it's over some scars. And
they used the numbing shit on her.
They did twice, 2 separate times.
I'm just playing with you.
I was a pussy.
But yeah, so like Bridget and I have been watching Buffy kind of on and off for like the duration of our relationship. Really, we watched Buffy on like our second date. We didn't really watch it, but we like it was on.
Yeah.
What?
I was just laughing.
Nothing. We were just making
the
out.
Smirk.
Yeah, I know, exactly. You guys were not exactly secretive about what really happened. It was on, but like. We weren't watching it.
I mean, I was just trying to make the point that we've been watching Buffy together for a long time.
And also not watching Buffy together for a long time.
Right.
But so like watching this movie, I was like the similarities of this movie to like every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is insane. Like they literally walked onto the set of this movie, picked a random extra and was like, "Hey, you want to go play Spike in a TV show?"
Absolutely.
Like he's one of them.
Yeah.
He's just British.
They said James Marsters, like, yeah, you can.
They just picked him up. They were like, "Hey,
we're gonna
of doing this,
bleach blonde your hair, bleach blonde, dye your hair bleach blonde, and it looks atrocious, but also great at the same time."
Leather jacket everywhere. It's ridiculous.
It has a scar through his eyebrow.
Yeah, so it's very much like this.
I like what this movie did too, versus like I know Logan was like comparing it to Fright Night in a way, but
Fright Night's great. That's a great comedy.
No, I don't like Fright Night.
It's so
but
good, guys.
I don't like how Fright Night makes their vampires look like they like do like extra makeup and like shit on top of them to like make their faces look different when they're fucking vampires. Well, they do that in this movie
too, though. When they become
vampires, yes, they do.
Yeah,
and it's very Buffy-esque too.
It is a notable. Like they literally,
I thought they didn't in this movie.
They ripped that from Fright Night, like literally.
They did that in this movie for sure.
They ripped it off, arguably. Like they did the same exact thing.
And then Buffy ripped it off from both of those movies.
Yeah.
They said,
"See, I don't
Joss
like that
Whedon
shit."
Said,
Which they all ripped it off from Nosferatu. So
yeah,
right.
I think making the vampires like younger teens and shit is something that like didn't really happen before this movie too, you know, and like that's such an everything.
I don't know.
That might have not been a thing.
Yeah,
but you were saying like what makes this movie as iconic as it is.
I think that's a big iconic factor.
Well, Fright Night
like,
did that though.
Well, fuck Fright Night. I don't fucking like Fright Night.
I think what makes this movie so specifically iconic is the aesthetics of it. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just like a very like notable feeling of the movie, like the boardwalk, the carnival, the lair, the like dungeon with that big Jim Morrison poster. Like that shit's cool as fuck, and like. Yeah, just like the aesthetics of this movie.
It's so lesbian without lesbians in
It
it,
is.
dude. It really is.
Right.
It
I didn't
really
think
is. This
about
movie
that.
is like weirdly like gay without having actually any gayness about it.
Correct.
I don't know about not any. I mean,
Well, I mean, there is some. I mean, there's some
this
like
movie's
weird.
definitely more gay than American.
There
Horror
is
from
some like
London.
homosexual tension between like the brother and the lead vampire guy. There's like some
Yeah.
some
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of like
There's
but
gay
I-
jealousy. We
yeah,
talked
there's
about
some
this.
big
Right,
gay
yes.
jealousy in it. So yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that's part of what makes it so iconic. And I think that also too the gayness ties into that like boyhood versus manhood thing. Like or like not to say that like you're gay when you're a boy and you're straight
I was
when you're
about
a
to
man.
say like, wait, what?
But like that thing that I was talking about, like how you have like these close male bonds versus the bond with a woman that takes you into manhood. Like, you know what I mean? I think it just kind of emphasizes that point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gay, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I think it's like that's a part of that too, like the like existing
Mm-hmm.
between spaces.
You know, it's so funny you mentioned that. I was just talking to Franny about this the other day. My friend and I have a theory that it is like 99% likely you won't make a lifelong lasting friend after you've already found your significant other.
Right.
It's very unlikely because you just don't
Yeah.
have enough time to give to another person. Like the reason why we're all going to be lifelong friends is because we're equal couples.
Yeah.
So there's not like a third wheel aspect to our friendships.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're a unit. We're, as they say, a crew.
Yeah.
Hey.
a
we're-
podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But even if we weren't a podcast,
Right.
we're totally a crew. Like it's
Yeah.
accurate.
We're like a
Right.
gang.
But like the podcast definitely solidified that because we started the podcast before we were like too close of friends, you know? Like
Yeah,
we were like
literally,
beginning friendships.
Franny fired. It was me, Madison, and our friend.
This is so
Franny-
on brand for
Franny
me too.
fired him from a podcast she didn't work for her own, and then said, "I'm joining." And then I said, "Okay." And then you asked if Bridget could join. I'm like, "Bridget's a writer. That could be a really interesting angle." Yeah, Bridget can join. And then that's how this podcast started,
And
by
here we
Franny
are.
firing a male friend of mine that I made after we got together.
Wow.
Further proving that you cannot have a long-lasting singular friendship.
Especially if your
Post
significant
being with a
other's a
significant other.
bitch.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a friendship that I've like other than this one
Mm-hmm.
that I've made since like getting with Bridget, but then also like COVID, so that prevents me.
But
from
but
making
even
friends.
then,
Yeah.
like there is an element of like you just like with your childhood best friends, you did everything with them. You
Yeah.
were tight with them. You gave a lot of yourself to them. They know things about you that nobody else is ever gonna know.
Right.
Right.
And as a result of that, it's almost like an early relationship, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
So when you move on from that and you meet somebody for real, you figure out what like a real relationship is. You give 99% of that of yourself to that person. And then that just leaves that small little percentage of like, oh, maybe there could be another lifelong friend, but it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
So like,
And like those are the friends you make in your childhood. Those are just your friends.
yeah,
And like
Yeah.
to an extent, the friends that you make as an adult with a partner are your partner's friends
partners,
too.
friends too. Yeah,
Because you just
Yeah.
graft them onto them.
Yeah.
yeah, true.
So
That's
yeah.
that argument I think is also like accurate in the Lost Boys, where like it is like the step between being an adult and being a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it like speaks to like teenagehood in a unique way. And I think that's something that we can all like resonate with is like not quite yet being an adult, but also not quite being a child either. And I think that's part of what makes it super iconic too. It's just because it's like familiar.
And I think I've said this before, but there is like people don't give enough credit to how hard it is to be a teenager or a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of people just write it off like this is the best time of your life. You shouldn't be upset
really
or
isn't.
anxious.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
It can be, but that doesn't mean that you don't face real struggles because what
Right.
you are as a child also above everything else is powerless.
Yeah.
You are absolutely
And
powerless. as a kid.
Powerless.
You're a child who has all the difficulties of being a child, but is still expected to act like and make adult decisions.
And here's the thing, a lot of
Correct.
children are sophisticated. They're not like just absolutely numb, brainless people. Like I think in a lot of the same aspects that I thought when I was 14, and I've had to act like an adult for most of my life, you know, because of siblings and stuff, but also because I've always had like that sophistication about me where I've I'm not saying I'm like smarter than anybody. I'm just saying, as long as I can remember, I've always
You
had
grew up fast.
I've always had a read on people when they're bullshit.
Yeah.
I've always had like a beyond my years kind of wisdom.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything about it if you're just powerless, you know?
Absolutely.
So it's difficult being a kid, and I think that's why we always resonate with movies about children facing adversity, because to a certain extent, so did you.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
there's
every
something
kid,
you dealt with as a kid where you were powerless to the unfairness put onto you, simply because people could write it off because you're a kid. What are you going to do? This is the best time of your life.
Right.
Right.
And then yeah, like, and as a teenager, you have to make all these adult choices and are supposed to act like an adult, but you're still treated like a kid.
On the flip of a dime, you
All of
have
a sudden you're
no
supposed
power
to-
you're completely responsible for everything.
It's like that's like that thing that people say, but it's really true. Like when you're in high school, you're expected to make decisions about the entirety of your future, but you still have to raise your hand to go to the bathroom.
right.
Like, so it's that weird place that you're in.
You're still not trusted to eat a bag of chips at your desk.
Right. Correct. Sometimes
Like,
when
you
you're
gotta
adult, they don't trust you to
yeah.
eat a bag of chips at your desk. That's just how it goes
But
sometimes.
like you got to decide if you're going to go put yourself into years and years and years of debt or not.
Yeah, and all that's predicated on people telling you the whole time it's your only option.
yeah,
And here's the thing: I'm not against higher education. I'm just saying that it's an inescapable fact that it's not for everyone. It just
Oh,
isn't.
absolutely
It's
not.
And
There's
as somebody
people
that
who are
didn't,
vocational. There's people
Yeah.
who are skilled in other ways you can't learn through a book. And then there's people who just like are dumb entertainers who want to tell dick jokes on the internet and they don't want to have a real job.
And as
we're
somebody
funnier
that-
than most people, so we shouldn't fucking have to.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm definitely, I don't want a real job. I'm over it. I do not.
Madison, we're literally too funny.
I'm too funny and hot and beautiful to work.
We're definitely too funny. But
I'm too funny to have a job. Sorry.
our job should be, instead of us telling our jokes to the 3 people we work with, why are we not just telling people funny things? Because there's enough darkness in the world, and there's enough people in entertainment who aren't fucking funny.
I
Right.
wish, dude.
But that's the goal, right?
Not to be existential on the podcast, but I fucking wish.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and rate this thing and wrap this up. I feel like we've spoken it to
I feel like
death.
it's gonna start getting weird if we keep
Yeah,
going.
we're
So
gonna start being
I
like,
think it's already getting weird. I might start crying. I don't know what's going on.
everything's cool, dog.
We're also just off of hanging
Like,
out for
why
like
not go to
24
college?
hours.
We're on the way. You should know that.
I hope. Yeah.
No. We're doing, hey, Commander Hawley, if you're out there, our podcast gets more views than you. Why are you famous and we're not? I don't know. But we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
So, yeah, to all the teens out there, it's gonna be okay, little dudes.
And it's okay if you
Yeah.
don't seek higher education.
Yeah,
I didn't, and I'm
understand
fine.
that. Like,
And it doesn't. I hate to tell you this, but it doesn't really matter that much.
It doesn't.
Like, it feels like this is the time in your life where you have to make all these big decisions, and it's forever going to impact the rest of your days.
Yeah.
It really isn't, and it doesn't have to.
And you're
so
fucked
I
up.
know
Like,
it's going to be
you,
okay.
you need to learn from me and Madison's mistakes in the sense that this is the time where you shouldn't be so strict on yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
what I'm
there's going to
learning
come a
these
time
days.
where you don't have a support window. You don't have a net catching you of, oh, I'm just a kid anymore. Even though you really fucking should, because the thing with kids is they're completely disregarded in all regards, but they're also, everything they do doesn't have any weight. And then the opposite issues for adults where everything you do, any little mistake can have so much weight.
Right.
So like
Right.
take the time to just fucking kick it, bro.
Yeah.
Play the video game, fucking do the homework and everything, but like you can cheat off your friend.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
And like, it
Fuck
just,
the
like,
system.
And like especially like behavior wise, like I didn't really do any illegal shit in high school
like,
where it had no
same.
implication.
I
Until I
literally
was
had
15,
no-
I was not interesting. And then I decided one day that life was too annoying and too hard for me to be the strictest person ever when I was seeing other people just do whatever they want. There's this great, I don't want to talk too much about Booksmart because we're not actually reviewing it, but there's this great fucking scene in Booksmart. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but I have to say it. There's these 2 girls
Oh, yeah.
that are so fucking strict and they're like consistently like don't do parties, they don't have any fun, and they go to this really rich school and they're talking about how they're going to Brown and all these Ivy League schools. And the school's rule is you're not allowed to tell people where you're going. It leaks that since they go to this rich school, everybody's going to Ivy League.
Yeah, like on their last
including
day,
all the
they
people
all
who
say-
partied every single day.
Yeah.
Their parents are rich just like yours and they're all going Ivy League too. You wasted your fucking time in high school. You wasted all of it. Everyone's going where you are and they're going to be just as successful as you, even though you squandered your time trying to be an adult early. Don't do it.
See, I just fucked around in high school and I turned out just fine.
Because now my goal,
Correct. Like,
now my goal is to be a child in adulthood, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a job where I'm doing what I want.
Yeah,
Same.
like
That's what I really. That's really want.
Yeah, what I want to tell you is that like you should do your illegal shit now because it has so much less repercussions.
Oh yeah, as a
Once
child,
you're
that-
18, you can go
Meth,
to real
kids,
jail.
meth. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do meth.
as a kid that did illegal things in Minecraft and got caught in Minecraft as a youth, I turned out just fine, baby.
Yeah, once you're an adult, like you can go to jail and shit.
Yeah.
But as a kid, like they can send you to juvie, I guess, as long as you don't murder someone. You're not going to go to real jail.
Yeah, no hard drugs, no
just
murdering.
do
But like,
little things in Minecraft.
Smoke the pot.
staying up past your bedtime.
Yeah.
Smoke a little weed. It's going to
Smoke
be
a
okay.
little weed.
Break
A
into a,
little bit of
fucking
reefer.
building. Who gives a fuck, you know?
I don't know about that. But
That's
maybe
a little more serious.
Sneak from your dad's liquor cabinet.
Yeah, who gives a fuck, you know?
Watch
They'll be
violent
fine.
movies. I don't know.
Watch violent movies. Get on the internet. See some shit on the internet. See some shit on the internet, baby.
Right. Like I spent so much time. I literally hadn't drunk. Like I didn't drink anything.
We're not advocating
until-
teen drinking, but I mean, we're
I
not
mean,
saying
a little
don't.
bit.
Legally, we're not advocating
Yeah.
teen drinking or any sort of financial advice.
Or drug use.
Or drug use
Right.
or anything.
Unless you're in the state of California.
Or
Yeah.
Colorado.
Things are getting scary everywhere else. We'll go with the state of California.
But like I didn't do shit. I literally did nothing.
and it didn't change anything about your life. Like,
Right.
if you
I
would
mean,
have
I
done that,
still-
you would have still been fine.
I would have been fine. And like I regret not trying. I regret not loosening up because as a kid, I was also very strict on myself. I was very hard on myself. Like, and like.
Like
I wish I
didn't realize how little it mattered until
Right.
it was until
because
it was
everybody
gone.
makes you think that it matters so much. And like I
Right.
feel like if you would ask me in my senior year of high school where I would be now, like freshly graduated from college, I would not. It would not be this. But
I
you know what?
remember-
That's okay because
Yeah.
I'm chilling. I'm straight up vibing. I'm having a good time.
I got fucking ostracized by like the administration at my school because I remember so clearly we were in lunch in senior year and we were supposed to all go out and tell like the administration like where we want our transcripts set. And I asked them, what happens if I'm not going to college? Where do my transcripts go? And they didn't answer me. They refused to.
To be fair,
That's
that's an
insane.
incredibly dumb question.
I mean,
but-
like nowhere.
I didn't fucking know, you know?
Right.
I'm fucking
Franny,
17,
it's a joke.
18.
I'm just
I don't
kidding.
know that shit.
They should not get mad at you because you don't
They
want to
got
go to college.
fucking mad at me.
But that's
for
the
not-
system we live in. But
Exactly.
You know what,
But
though?
we're going on a
Yeah,
rant here.
let's go ahead and rate this thing. Let's get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here, baby.
All right. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
A what?
A 7 out of 10.
You said a 7 out of 10.
You
I
said a
almost-
70 billion out of 10.
I almost,
Like, wow,
I
it's
almost
great.
said a half.
An
but
11 billion, baby.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Alrighty.
All right, so
What's
Yeah, I
are
hope
we-
Guys, next week we will
Yeah.
be doing Scooby-Doo on Zombie
wait,
Island.
no, not next
Not
week.
next
Yes,
week.
The week after next.
Next time,
Yeah.
baby.
I just
Scooby-Doo
don't
on
want
Zombie
anybody to get
Island.
confused about the new schedule because it's every other week now.
And the I think it's David Goyer, I can't remember, directed The
The
Invisible.
which
So
is a fun
watch
time.
watch those fucking movies. Get ready. We're
yeah,
coming
where can
for
we?
you.
Where can you find them?
I think you can rent Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island off of YouTube for like $1.99.
Also, Amazon Prime
Yeah.
is also $1.99.
Yep.
It's the same price. At least it was when we watched
But
it.
we promote YouTube here.
Yeah, we love YouTube.
Yes, we do love
no, I'm just
YouTube.
kidding. We can promote both.
YouTube, please
and-
love us.
And then The Invisible, I think, was on Tubi for a while. I don't know about it anymore, but you could probably rent it anywhere you get any digital. So,
right.
What-
Yeah.
the best way to do it, if you're looking to figure out how to watch certain movies, it's this simple. Google has a feature in
Yep.
which
I do
you
it all
can
the time.
you can also click what services you have if they're like really obscure,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll let you know if you have the service right away. And you Google search it as well.
That's
But it
really
also
cool. I
tells
didn't
you
know
where you
that.
can watch it. So you can click like I have HBO Max, I have Splinter, I have Shudder, I have all this stuff.
So yeah, watch those movies.
Watch those. Check us on Twitter at Crosscut Cinema, right? Or Crosscut Cinema Pod. Which one is that?
Crosscut Cinema.
Check us out, Crosscut Cinema.
Our email is crosscutcinemapod@gmail.com. You can send us an email.
Please,
if you
we
send
love-
Death Note spoilers in the inbox, I will find you and I will kill you.
If you're listening to us on Apple, please review us at 5 stars. Spotify, 5 stars. Pocket Podcast 5 stars.
Ring that fucking bell
But
on
also,
YouTube.
yeah,
Give us
but
a Yelp review.
Let me get to the YouTube part. I was getting to the YouTube part.
I'm just excited.
You can check us out at youtube.com/crosscutcinema. You can also check out me and Franny's other podcast, youtube.com/apilotpodcast. And then if you guys really love me, which I think you might, in the description.
Oh, we do.
Thank you. In the description, you guys can check out my extra YouTube channel. What it has there is a lot of podcast clips from both podcasts as well as independent projects. I have one called Average Joe Interviews. I interviewed my friend Dusty. It's just a good time. It's not movie related, so if you just want to hear me wax on, wax off about a guy you don't know with a guy you don't know, that's the way to do it.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really
that's
good.
kind of
Logan's
the
not
place
giving
to
himself
go.
enough credit on that podcast. It's a really good podcast. Definitely give it a
Yeah.
look. It's
Yeah.
much more interesting hearing somebody interview everyday people than celebrities. Fuck that, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've interviewed a celebrity before and it wasn't fun, so that's how this ended up happening.
And yeah, that's kind of the spot for any like Crosscut Cinema bonus content that appears in the future. It'll be there. There's stuff coming.
There's video content coming.
Oh,
we're coming.
you're gonna
back
be so
strong in
excited.
2021. We missed a whole month, but now we're coming back strong in 2021, and it's gonna be great. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We love you.